Boy. 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 Come boy. 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 Boy.
Making pancakes.
Boy. 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 Come boy. Stay back, boy.
But you know, 440.
Making pancakes. Making pancakes.
258, sir, is what we're at for the record.
258. Okay,
258.
I remember. 258.
You remember.
258. 258. Well, it's just the high numbers are too high.
I know. At some point, it just becomes math. And who likes math? At this point.
We should just reboot it. Let's just reboot the Mouthful podcast. We'll get another theme song. A more elaborated remake.
I like that. I like that idea. But we got to rename it though. We got to name it something else, right? It's a reboot, so we got to have like a colon something.
How about just GG or the Mouthful or just Mouthful?
How about mouth colon full? What? Nailed it.
Oh shit, that is some internet 2.0 kind of shit, man.
Man, that's real meta, is what that
blew
is.
my mind
Real
there.
meta.
Yes, mouth colon full. Yeah, I love it. All right, we're rebranding. We're doing the entire rebrand of we're gonna need a new logo, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. It's gonna be, it's gonna be MF. That's it. Bracketed MF. We're the bracketed motherfuckers. Everybody's gonna think that, but in reality, it's Mouthful.
Yeah,
There you
you're
go.
right. You're right. I like it. You play around with them. What does the
Yeah.
MF stand for? And then you go, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your response. Exactly.
I think you just wrote our Super Bowl commercial. That one.
Wow.
We're gonna be right there next
We're
to
gonna be-
GoDaddy for that bitch.
Nice. GoDaddy.
GoDaddy.
I love those
GoDaddy.
stupid commercials, man. Dear Lord. And the amount of money they pay for that shit is just ridiculous.
Ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous.
Oh, here we go. No, that's the expansion pass.
Expansion pack. What did you get?
For Hitman too. That was a hit.
So that's probably what's $45 then.
Man, son of a bitch.
You know what? At least you're not paying full price for a not so full experience. We'll have that talk when we get
Oh boy. Oh no. Well, let's just get right into it. Welcome back, guys. This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and this is The Real, episode 258. GG's the Mouthful Podcast.
of the MFGG podcast. That is GG. MF standing for mouthful.
Oh wait. All right.
MF. Yeah, it doesn't have the same ring. I don't know.
Unless you yell mofo. Mofo!
Mofo.
Yeah. That has a
That's what they'll call us.
nice. That voice, of course, is Mr. David Santos, aka Dream Twister. What is up, sir, on this fine Friday evening?
It is a fine Friday evening indeed. You know what it's good for? You know what the Friday night is automatically outstanding to be doing? Just sitting back, relaxing with a cold beer, with a cold brew, and recording a podcast.
I agree, sir. I got a nice little 10% joint right here, and it's going to be an interesting podcast. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Let's get it going. That sounds good. I don't have beer myself, but I will have tomorrow because I do have. I got my bro-in-law is visiting.
Nice.
And they're gonna be raising my kitchen, but literally not the food. They're literally gonna take all my appliances because I am replacing all that shit.
Oh,
Finally, damn. I'm getting rid of the old, in with the new. I moved to this house and it felt like it still had the appliances of when it was built.
Really?
I don't
Dear
know that
Lord.
for a fact, but I mean, it was fine. Everything, everything. It's working it was working okay. It was just not like ideal. Like the fridge was starting to sound like a really old car, when it's idling, you hear like. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, there's no moving pieces on it, or
Oh,
maybe they are moving
damn.
pieces. I don't know anything about refrigeration, but it was sounding like that, and then of course my dishwasher. I don't have one. My dishwasher is actually my Walmart bag dispenser. I have a huge Walmart bag dispenser there for for when I need to use it for trash or whatever.
So wait. So you have so you have a dishwasher. It just doesn't wash anything.
Well, because it doesn't work.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it literally doesn't. It's never worked. When I moved to this house, I really wanted to be here because it was very close to work, and I didn't want to do the whole spending a lot of time, and then, the area's nice, and I liked it. And I was like, okay, I really want this house. I could bypass the fact that the appliances look that that they have over 20 years, and they're about to fall.
Oh,
And that roof has never been changed, so I'm probably gonna have to bank that. But it's a nice place, so sure, let me have it. So last year I took care of of the roof. Now this year is gonna be the appliances. Next year, hopefully, and then it'll be like the floor, the changing the rugs or replacing,
okay.
putting flooring,
Oh,
and
you're
little
like
by
me,
little.
bro. That's exactly what I want. I want to take all this rugs out, put some hardwood floor down.
Yeah,
That's
man.
all I want to do. I don't want any of these rugs anymore. Sick of it.
Yeah.
Sick of this
It's
shit.
it's just dust and crap. Like
It
I hate,
is, bro.
I hate,
And
I
it
hate.
messes with my wife. She's got like allergies and shit like that. It's like the worst for her. And I know that's what it is. This fucking rug just like absorbs all the dust. And
Yeah.
as you walk on it, it just just
Yeah.
boosts that shit up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. That's gonna
I
be one of our next projects
There you go. Yeah,
for
and I
sure.
figure you don't have to do everything at once and go like into debt like crazy or anything like that. Just focus on one thing for for the year,
Hmm.
and just work on that, and little by little you'll be surprised of all the. I mean, it's a fucking investment that you're making already. It's invest in it.
Yeah,
Put some money.
exactly. Exactly. I agree.
In this episode of Better Housing,
Do it
Homeowner
yourself
101.
housing. Yeah.
Do it yourself housing. No. I'm anything but a do it yourself.
Oh, for
Like
sure. I'm a pay it for pay
pay
for
it
it.
for
Yeah.
selfer.
I'm just like, all right, how much does this cost to do? No, I'm not doing it. I just
No.
need to know how much it costs. Actually, I just thought about it now. We got to fix our damn driveway. Freaking cement's all cracked up. It's no
Oh
looking
shit.
bueno. And we
Well,
want to make sure.
we can probably throw that. We can probably throw in there.
You think so? You know how to mix cement and all that shit? Because I don't
Huh?
know jack about that.
You know what? I'll watch a couple YouTube videos and then I'll learn it. That's how I learn networking.
I
Just
mean,
YouTube it.
yeah,
YouTube it,
I
bro.
guess that's possible. Yeah, that's how I learned something for the washer or something. I had to look up. I was, let me see how to fucking, and yeah, there it was. It's like, well, hey, how about that?
How about
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Who needs college? Who
I
needs
know. Yeah,
who
you
needs
want
basic life skills?
you want to be a brain surgeon, dude? Just look it up. It's on
Just
there.
look
It's
at. I bet there's a video for that. Yeah.
I'm sure there is. Good
Yeah.
luck, because I'm pretty sure it's disgusting. But yeah, it's in there. It's in there somewhere. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Go for it. If you wanna.
For sure.
What if I want to get good at games? What do I do?
Oh, well, first off, what you would want to do is go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. First, that takes you right to our Facebook group. And then secondly, once you join the group and they all support you, you will become, or rather, you will get good pretty
You will
quick
get good.
on
That's
whatever it
the
is you're
way.
looking for.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Just participate. Say hi. Don't be a ghost. Don't be a lurker. And
Alert.
and then we'll graduate you little by little. Next thing you know, you'll be finishing games like a mad dog.
Like, oh, well, hey, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
There you go.
Once again, guys, if this is your first time listening, this is what we normally do. First, we go into what
Well, not
we
this.
have been up to,
That.
move on into some various news items, and then finish with our hot topic of the week. This week's
This
hot
week, hot
topic.
pockets.
We're
Hot
doing
topic.
we're doing another fireside chat. This time we're looking at God of War, retrospective on God of War, and not sure the sound I'm listening to, but it sounds like some.
It's a fire. That's the fire. That's the fire on the when you throw
Oh,
in
nice,
the leña,
nice.
the wood.
Okay, well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're going to be going through a little bit of the history of God of War, just kind of our own retrospective, going through the games, going with our favorite moments, what didn't work about either the game or the series or the story at certain points.
Aries,
Yeah,
I'm an angry god, and
yeah.
I
To be
like to have
fair,
sex off camera.
but I make sure you hear it.
Oh, you hear it exactly.
Yeah,
That she will not pass 2021 now.
yeah.
I feel like
No.
the generations shifted. I know 2019, like this new era came to be, and like everything's like drastically switched to you cannot make a game with the sexual intonation of God of War that God of War had and still get a uh um
TVM, not T, MA rating. Yeah.
MA rating.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
say
yeah.
TVMA. What a
I
loon.
was thinking I got confused. And
uh,
teens for teens, so
yeah, yeah.
that's
No,
not.
no, I agree. I agree. It
It
wouldn't
will
fly
not fly.
nowadays.
Yeah, it will
Um,
probably get banned in Australia,
I mean, yeah, for sure.
and yeah, it'll probably have all sorts of yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the world we're living
bunch
now.
of groups,
Yep, bunch of
chanting
groups.
stuff against it, and
Yep,
how it is.
as it happened since
Exactly.
2019 ended.
Yeah, precisely.
We
Yeah,
ended this
since the
era.
world
Yeah,
ended. And
yeah,
no, just
exactly.
kidding. All right,
War
guys,
ended.
let's go ahead and begin with what we have been up to, sir.
Yes, sir.
What have you been doing?
Oh man. Oh brother.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Okay, there you go. So the games that I've been playing, the things we do for love. No,
Ooh, Game of Thrones, nice.
I've actually been playing and it should come as completely 100% no surprise to you whatsoever. Outriders.
Nope, none whatsoever, sir. None
It is
whatsoever.
the most, of course you are, the thing that I have been, of course I aming. Yes, I am playing
Nice.
Outrider, just like a bunch of people seem to be playing. Surprisingly enough, like I don't know, I don't know what it is. Well, actually, for those who don't know what Outriders is a co-op looter shooter, like all the looter shooters that have been so popular lately. Developed by People Can Fly, who uh, who has a, let's call it a mixed pedigree when it comes to their releases.
Mhm.
The release 2004 Painkiller was great. Gears of War Judgment was not. Bulletstorm was great. Outriders.
Somewhere in the middle.
So anyway, they also help development of other titles like in the Gears of War series, Fortnite, Unreal Tournament, and Infinity Blade. And if by these titles you probably then will know that they used to be part of Epic,
Mhm.
Epic Games, Epic Games. Back when Epic did games. Actually, no, they still do games. Um, how does he? So how does he play?
Well,
Uh,
first off, where are you playing?
I'm playing on PS5.
Okay.
I'm playing on PS5. This game, surprisingly enough, is crossplay.
Yes.
PC and consoles, and consoles and consoles. And oh wait, actually no, it's not right now.
Oh,
But that was the plan. And at some point, we'll get that. So I'll divide it like I usually do, good, bad, and ugly. So the good things
Okay.
first. Let's
Hmm.
get the good things out of the way. No, let's focus on the good things. So this is not a games as service game. Let me repeat that. This is not a games as service game. You would have expected it. It looks like one. It feels like one. It is not one. The game, I would say it takes a lot of cues from other looter shooters like Destiny, The Division, Anthem,
So,
Borderlands.
okay, okay, all right. I'll
Yeah,
let you finish. I was curious about to why is it not a game as service game? Or what differentiates it from those that you just mentioned?
it doesn't. Well, it doesn't because even though it is you're playing on a server, it doesn't. It's not meant to be it's not meant to like it's not meant to sell you crap. Like it's not trying to offer you the game and just entice you with, but you could get this, and you could get this something else, and you could get more. That's the aspect that I mean, because it does place on a server, and if by definition we're just gonna say games as services, any game that touches a server, then I guess fine. It'll be it could be put in there, but I don't want it to be confused with it's the type of games where it's just gonna give you a lot of things. I mean, if it's free to play, then it's gonna hit you with a paywall at some point. If it's not free to play, it's still gonna try to entice you into like buying this or buying that or getting, your looks good, but if you can buy this skin, it'll look radical, look awesome. And it doesn't have those entrapments. Like there's
Okay.
no store whatsoever. Um, the gameplay doesn't feel in any way that it's it's changed in a way that is trying to get you to go to visit a store. That's what I mean by
Mhm.
by that.
Gotcha.
uh, the game is a single player game, uh and it does uh and it's always online game, which is very, very unfortunate for reasons that will become more apparent when I get to the bad part. But we're still talking about the good things. So, um, the game itself has, I'll say, it has an effective treadmill of loot. If you like games where you progress, if you like seeing progress on your character, it does well enough to where you don't feel like you're just racing to get to the end game because, well, the real end game is here.
Gotcha.
This is where you start playing the game. Like I love the division, don't get me wrong, but I hate the fact that throughout the whole time that I was playing it, and same thing happened with Destiny, although I didn't take part of the end game on Destiny. I did take part of the end game on the division, and that is that when you hit that last portion, that's where a lot of people say, okay, now you're actually playing the game as it's meant to be, and I hate that. I don't like that because what was I doing before?
Yeah, what was all
I was
this
having
12, 15 hours that I was doing?
yeah,
The whole
exactly.
the
Like
point of
what,
that.
what was that like training
The
and you
tutorial.
kind of yeah, and kind of yeah, I get it. It is because the division end game is very different than the division as you play, but I don't like that design. Same thing with Destiny. When you get to end game, now you're playing for something else, and I personally don't like that design. I understand that other people do, and that's fine. This game Outriders has an end game, but at least it doesn't feel like it is in lieu of like this, like it is taking anything away from what you're doing right now to get to that level cap.
Mhm.
So the playing through all the game, the loot treadmill, like I call it, feels significant because you are getting interesting weapons. And gear in general. The weapons are distinct enough. I wouldn't say they're wildly different from your standard ballistic weaponry of other games. Like,
Mhm.
you know, you shoot a gun, you should a game gun, you should all game guns, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah.
Um, Um, and what else? The enemy AI is pretty good. It's pretty good. I would I would say phenomenal if it wasn't for the fact that I a couple of times I did encounter where I guess the AI kind of shut down a little bit, and suddenly like the enemy wasn't really doing anything, and I was picking them up one by one. Like,
Mm.
okay, are you not realizing that I'm here? Are you not registering that I'm here? But at some point they wake up, and then
They're
uh
good at flanking. For just from I played the demo for the record, but I
yeah,
remember,
yeah, you talked about this
yeah,
actually.
it was pretty challenging, and they're pretty good at flanking and setting perimeters. And I was like, oh, these guys are they ain't fucking around. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. They are, and they are pretty good at flanking. They know when to push also. Like
Hmm. Yeah.
if you're stuck moving, well, if you're stuck moving, you're not playing the game right, because even the game itself at the beginning, or I think it was maybe the developers words at the beginning, it basically tells you like, you want to survive, you got to be aggressive. And now I understand why. It's because the way you actually heal is when you are constantly killing. If you're hiding behind cover, like this game is a cover shooter, but the cover, and this is not me that I'm saying this. This is I heard this and it makes perfect sense. The cover is for the enemy. Like you're not meant to cover. That's probably why the cover system itself is so bullshit.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Because
because that's the thing that threw me off in the demo, where I was like, well, what's the point of this cover if I'm not to? I mean, even you can even set up, or it gives you the hints, to press this to go over here and to do this. You're like, oh, okay. And with the pedigree, you start
uh,
thinking of what do you call it? Gears of War, you know what I mean? You're
mm,
like, okay, well, yeah, that's probably what they're going for, you know what I mean? And that's what
yeah,
was constantly getting
yeah.
my ass handed to me in that demo. And later on, I kind of figured it out. I was like, I was just keeping mobile, but it didn't help that I was a support that generally needed to stay away from groups, and I was by myself.
Which class were you playing?
I forgot the name of it, but it was basically the one that can drop
Like
like fucking turrets.
turrets?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, okay, the
Yeah.
Technomancer.
Technomancer, that's the one.
Okay,
Yeah.
you will be amazing on a group with that class.
Correct, but
Ridiculously
not by
OP
yourself.
effective, but not by yourself probably. Yeah, 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 yeah. Also, I love the fact that people think like, oh no, this is from from the people that make Gears of War, and I'm like, no, actually, this is for the people that work on the worst of the series of Gears of War Judgment, and this is not Epic. This was their in-house uh, uh, protege, if anything. But credit where credit's due. They have made some awesome, like Bulletstorm is fantastic game. I mean, stupid uh, juvenile cussing aside,
Okay.
uh, which it was kind of stupid, but that game was great. Uh, this game is also pretty good, to be honest with you. It has a story for once. Hey, little shooter with a story. Woo! That's it. We made it, people. We
Yeah,
got
yeah.
there.
It's what everybody
This,
wants. Yeah.
See, this is also how you know this is not a gas game. Why? Because gas games don't have great, the stories. This game has a story. I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's a particularly great story, mind you, but it's well enough to establish the setting in more ways than one.
So
Uh,
talk to me about the setup, dude. I
what
came
do you
out
mean?
of the demo
Uh,
really impressed with the setup of the story. Once I got into the meat and potatoes of the story, it was like, okay, this is your regular. Go over here, do this, go. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
everything leading up to that, I was like, man, this is kind of a fascinating concept, and the way it played with time, I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? Really?
It is a fascinating concept. It's just it seems, to be honest with you, it feels wasteful because the the most interesting portion is that beginning part. Honestly, the fact that
Oh, okay.
oh, you are you're coming from a colony ship from Earth, which has been of course Earth, we humans fucked Earth up, so now we're moving to this planet Enoch, and and we get there, and we land there. It looks like paradise and beautiful, and of course, not everything is as it seems, and hilarity ensues. And next thing you get mortally wounded, and they put you back in cryo, and then so you close your eyes to sleep, and you wake up immediately, and it's like 30 years in the future. They have already turns out they have already colonize the portion of the planet where they landed. However, everything's a shit show because they're they they realized they couldn't go out there to gather more resources. The resources they have is are limited, and they have like millions of people that were still on cryo, and they made a mistake of waking them up because it was the choice was either wake them up or let them to die. But if you wake them up, well, you're bringing them into a world that is already like it doesn't have a lot of resources. How are you planning on maintaining all this group of
Mhm.
people? How are you planning on giving housing to all this group of people? And so it sets up an interesting lore, but once it establishes that, it falls into a very run of the mill, sci-fi. Oh, the planet gave you powers, and it doesn't make any sense how you got those powers or why they are like they are. But
And why you and not
story to
anybody
justify
else? Yeah,
gameplay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why?
And why you and not everyone else? Yeah.
And why you exactly? Although there are some other people that get the type of powers that you do, but it's like you're their savior basically,
Hmm.
and
It's
then you have to find.
selective.
Yeah,
The
you're the
storms are, for whatever reason, selective.
you're the
We're gonna
chosen
kill
one.
you. It's basically fuck all you guys. No, you okay? We're gonna give you. We're gonna give you all the power, but no, fuck everybody else.
No,
No,
fuck
right,
everybody else. Everybody
yeah,
else dies except
yeah,
for you.
yeah.
The
Because I have
hero
deemed
of
it.
the planet, ass face. Because you can name it whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I make my I make my baddest chick, which I took hours upon hours to make sure to
To create.
meticulously make a
I,
selection of
I hear you.
every. Oh no, wait! I just changed her eye her eye color, and that's it. I went with default female character from the marketing. Change her eyes. Oh, she's a David fine art.
Nice.
But going back to the story. So yes, it has one, and if you play that demo, that beginning part, and it seemed like you're like, oh, this is actually an interesting story. Well, I haven't gotten all the way to the end, but so far, and mind you, it does keep that level of cutscenes where I mean, it doesn't Metal Gear Solid it, but it's not gonna give you 15 minutes of just drop the controller, but it's gonna give you like a decent amount of acting, some exposition here or there, some interesting things that happen. This game gives you like a lot of cutscenes, and I'm not convinced that all of them are necessary, but I'm okay with those, with the ones that fill you in with something. It doesn't have that. You know, I don't have time to explain why I don't have time to explain bullshit of
Gotcha.
Destiny. So they try, and for trying that, I still commend them. I'm not gonna shit on them for not giving me fucking A+ Oscar worthy story.
Story.
It's not gonna make me laugh. It's not gonna make me cry. It's just a sci-fi story. You probably to the equal caliber of a Halo or something, or a Gears of War or whatever. So and also it's funny because like if you're trying to join friends and they're in the middle of a cutscene, the game will tell you like
Oh, one of those things again, huh?
you won't it won't let you join them. Well, yeah, exactly. I feel like it could have been handled a little bit more elegant, to be honest, but no, it's just until they're done. It doesn't do the bullshit of Monster Hunter World, where, oh, you're friends are way ahead of you, so you can't even play with them. Or
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty
no, it
much.
doesn't
Yeah.
do that. It doesn't do that. It honestly tells you, hey, your friends might be ahead in the story. If you join them, they're gonna be spoilers. Do you want to continue? Yes. Let it be my decision. Um. Also, part of the good thing is the game the if you play side quests and everything, you can easily clock like 30 or 40 hours probably if you do everything and you're exploring and you are doing side quests and all that.
Oh,
So it is meaty, if you just book it by yourself, it's probably going to take you 12 or 15 hours. um, and if you're playing with friends, you could probably clear it in 7 hours. Uh, and if you're playing with a technomancer, forget it. They're probably gonna take you like 3 hours because having a technomancer on a group of friends is ridiculously OP right
yeah.
now.
I mean, that's the reason why. Like, I remember seeing the video, and I was just like, oh, that's the character I kind of want to be. I normally
Yeah,
don't play the support character. I'm usually up front. And I
yeah,
was like, this will be cool because I can. I had a sniper rifle. It's like this is great.
yeah.
I can sit back, pick people off, set up a turret, set up a perimeter essentially. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And again, probably would have worked great if I would have jumped in with a bunch of randos, but not by
yeah.
yourself
No,
because you're the only target at that point. You know what I mean? And it's like it's great while they're away in a distance, but once they come up, I'm switching to my pistol. Because I'm like fuck. And
and
so yeah.
pistols are great on it.
No, no, for sure, for sure. I had
The
a
weapons
six.
on it, it's
Yeah.
not like all these other games where the pistols are kind of like trivial. It's kind of to say, oh, you have a pistol, which might as well just be a cosmetic accessory because you never use it. In here, you can kick some ass with a pistol, with a pistol or with dual pistols also, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
So I talked a little bit already about the loot. I told you that it's not meaningless and useless. You are constantly getting mods from it, special gear. You can upgrade the gear that you have, or get loot that gives you special abilities, uh, or that reduces your cooldowns to the point where you can almost spam your skills. Maybe not to that level, or at least I haven't seen it just yet. But like, I just got one pair of pants that allowed me to use my knife attack twice without a cooldown,
Oh,
and
okay.
it makes me like a badass ninja. Because I'm playing the what's that class name? There's the Devastator, the Pyromancer, the Technomancer. Oh, the Trickster.
The
I'm playing
trick.
the Trickster.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, there's a Devastator, which is a tank.
Yes,
A
of course.
Pyromancer, which is a mid-range like fire conjurer.
That was the
Uh,
one I was leaning towards, and I probably would have gone with. Like that would have been my
that one
default.
looks fun. That
Yeah,
one looks fun
exactly.
to
You know
play.
what I'm saying? But then when I saw the Technomancer, and I was just like, this is outside of my comfort. It's a demo. I don't know if I'm gonna buy the
Yeah.
game. Let's give it a shot. Yeah.
That's why I went with the Trickster, because I was also looking for, let me play something that is outside my comfort zone. And it turns out that to play the Trickster, it's kind of like the hardest one to master,
Ooh, nice.
because you have to, yeah, because all your attack is close range. It's right up on,
Mm-hmm.
right up top of them, and because that's where you heal also. So it could put you in tight spots where if you don't, if you warp to an area where there's just a bunch of enemies and you can't warp back or have a plan of exit, you can just get overwhelmed and decimated.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, the game has world tiers, but unlike something like Diablo or the Division, the world tiers, it kind of like automatically sets you in them from the get go. It's not, oh, you beat the end game, so now let me give you end game plus. Oh, now you're really good at that, I guess, because you got to get a lot of good gear. Let me give you end game plus plus. Like, it's no, it's none of that. It's basically, oh, you're doing pretty well. It's almost like it levels with you. So I don't understand exactly what the point of it is, unless the point of it is if you get too stuck in an area, it'll have an excuse to say, hey, maybe you want to go back down a world or two, activate grandma mode or whatever.
Mhm.
So yeah. Finally, the game runs great on PS5. Runs a full 60. So hey, that's enough good ones, right? Right? I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, it's
the
yeah.
the graphics are serviceable.
It's at
Uh,
least enough to get it a 2.5 on our scale.
yeah.
At least
Yeah,
enough,
if
depending
well,
how much bad there is.
depending on how well, let's talk about that because the music is completely forgettable.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, I forgot.
the
I don't even know the music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I suppose that you have to give, say what you will about, the State of Destiny at the beginning or anything like that, but you could tell that the music composed for that game was something special. Uh, the in the division, you kind of have to pay attention to it because it's not really memorable either, but it has some good moments. On this, is just it might as well have been taken from a stock audio
Oh wow.
because it is dude to tell you and I posted this, and when I got to play with Chaos, because I had the opportunity to play with Chaos and Dark Necromancer, they like super back me off on this. This game is the most B tier game you have ever played since probably Prototype. You remember
Oh wow. Yeah, I
Prototype?
remember Prototype. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
that. Actually, I played the demo. Believe it or not, of that shit.
There you go.
Back when there were demos.
There you go. Was this like THQ or Acclaim? Who knows? Because this game might as well have been done by Acclaim.
Wow.
It is so B tier in every possible way it can strut it, and he pulled out proudly shows it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
It proudly shows its all B tierness glory. Bitterness. No, B tierness. um, so we already established that the weapons are good and the loot is good. The shooting is okay, but the movement, bro. My God, the movement, bro.
I know.
uh,
The fucking corners and you get stuck sometimes. You're like, that's not
getting
what I meant to do.
getting stuck to corners is just the beginning because I do not like how this game feels when you are running and especially when you're moving side to side. I haven't felt movement this bad since Fallout 3, where it feels like you're skating, around,
Mm.
and it's probably not as bad if it for some of you, but I guess I don't feel like my feet are connecting to the ground. And then turning to the side, to face something feels like it feels like somebody turned mouse acceleration on your gamepad. You know
Wow.
what mouse acceleration does when you're trying to move your cursor? Instead, if you move your cursor at a consistent rate and the cursor moves at the same speed of the movement of your hand,
Hmm.
that's with mouse acceleration off. It's a one-to-one movement. With mouse acceleration on, if you were to do the exact same thing, you'll be able to tell that the mouse will start accelerating in speed, as if that was gonna help you somehow. Even if you're moving your hand at the exact same speed, that's mouse acceleration on. The uh, trying to target something, or moving your gamepad uh, left to right, it feels like you're constantly overshooting your target because you have to accommodate for that stupid acceleration. And I
Okay.
turned the sensitivity down, and it didn't help that much. I usually don't have to do that with games. Uh, Also, there is, I mean, it's very hard to walk. I don't like when my character is just booking it from side to side, in areas, especially if I have an analog fucking controller. If I have an analog controller, allow me to walk. I've realized it's not. It's a little thing. It's a little detail. It's just what I like to do in some areas for the realism or for fuck it. I just want to walk here because I am looking at shit. I don't want to just press it lightly and have my character zooming in, to the location. It's almost, it feels like a bad PC port, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, it feels like, oh, this game was never meant to have gamepad
Gamepad support.
support, and yet we just tack one on, uh, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
The character selection is laughable. It is ridiculous. I already told you. I just took the marketing version of the chick that appears on every trailer. I changed her eye colors, and that's my character. You know, because you only had a selection of what, like 8 faces,
Yeah. There weren't a
and
lot. Mm-hmm.
there weren't a lot. So, which I guess is also okay because everybody's gonna cover their identical twin faces with
Mm-hmm.
with loot and gear, so it's fine. Um, it does play co-op, like I mentioned, 3 outriders only. So I was playing with Chaos and Necromancer, and I was really wishing that there was at least the chance, the opportunity of having a 4 chair open, so that we can separate it for you, so that we could be the 4 of us. Even though there's no chance in living hell that I will ever see you getting this at full price, mind
No,
you.
no, not even a little bit. And so you guys all got it, or did anybody get it on Game Pass? No, I don't think any of them have Game Pass, right?
Well, I thought I was getting it on Game Pass because, hey, Game Pass,
Mhm.
Microsoft. Hey, I have
But
Windows.
it's
I
on,
have
yeah,
got Game Pass. It's only
console only.
on
Yeah.
console. It
Yep.
is it's a stupid reason.
Oh,
It's a
for
stupid
reasons, bro.
reason.
Money. Let's be
Yeah,
real. Let's,
yeah.
let's call it what it is. The same old why.
MOY.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, the game is still with 3 people. The game is so unbalanced because, like I said, uh, we were pretty much trivializing the game content with with dark as with Dark Necromancer as a Technomancer. Uh,
Oh, nice.
and then me and Chaos were both tricksters. it was ridiculous. I'm talking about boss battles that soloing will take you, I don't know, up to, some of them might even take you like up to 15 minutes or something. uh they took less than 30 seconds or maybe up to a minute with 3 people.
Nice. I mean,
So
not
it
nice, but you know what I mean. Well done. Well
yeah.
done.
It was like, oh yeah, it's gonna do this. Oh yeah, it's gonna do this. Oh, there you go. Cutscene. It was like, dude, I didn't even have the chance to look his transformation. He's already gone. It is so unbalanced, bro. Uh, so that's pretty much. I mean, I'm sure there are other bad things which I left for the ugly because it's not something that I expect that it'll stay like that forever. But that launch window was kind of abysmal.
Mm.
It's getting better, but it's broken right now. It's so broken right now that crossplay has has a warning sign.
Has been
Like, it
delayed.
tells
Oh,
you, do not do it yet. Guys, do
damn.
not do crossplay. It's not ready for it. Um, and also, the game has so many unnecessary cutscenes. It's almost comical. I'm talking about, I need to open this. I need to open this door. Well,
Oh,
let's
yes. I
fade to
forgot about
black. Let's have a cutscene of her opening
Yeah.
the door, Resident Evil style.
Mhm.
Let's fade to black again, and let's just go back at it. See what I mean by B tierness? It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
kind of things they don't pass on a AAA. It's like, no way, no way.
Yeah, we made fun of freaking Anthem for the occasional load screens where you're going from one end of
from
one
one
one area to the other. It's like, why are we loading to get into this spot? It was right there. You know, I literally saw everything is over there. Why am I loading into
Why
it
am
now?
I loading? Well,
Yeah.
no, this one, it looks, everything looks really fast. Everything is very quick
Yeah,
on
but I mean,
PS5.
let's be real. The cutscenes. What do the cutscenes generally mean? So it almost feels like this game was designed for last gen, and now next gen is making it look stupid.
Yeah.
Because it was like, we didn't need these here,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, no, man. I don't know. And it looks so bad because a cutscene of me climbing. Get the fuck out of here. Like, why? Just let me climb. You don't need to separate this into, and also I'm playing with my peeps. But when I enter a cutscene, my peeps are gone. They're disappeared. Even if it's just me on a freaking like trolley, and the trolley is taking me and with my peeps, and it goes into that cutscene, and it just show me by myself. It's kind of dumb that in those ways. But anyway, uh, the game is still like with all those with all of those imperfections, stanangs, let's call them. Well, all those mistakes and horrors, I can appreciate the good things that they've been trying to do. Like they wanted to make a game that didn't rely on microtransactions and bullshit. That's always gonna get applause. Doesn't matter how shitty your game is. I can give you crap for the game being shitty, but I can't call this game shit because at the end of the day, I was very entertained. I am very entertained. I'm invested on it. I want to see it through, and I like the loot system. I like that everything that I wear is meaningful and it
Mhm.
looks different on my character. My character, at least, if you can if you can customize the way the your natural way of look, your character itself, you can customize the crap out of the stuff that or let me rephrase that. You can customize your character with the loot.
Okay.
I don't think you can like change colors or dye
Oh, shaders and shit
your
like that.
grid. Yeah, you don't have shaders or stuff like that yet. I can see that happening now, but
Yeah, for sure.
not anytime soon. Right now, they're kind of have to focus on a lot of the the basic stuff. But hey, it's not entirely broken. I'm still having fun with it. And if you ask me, this game is a solid tree. A
Yeah,
solid
yeah.
tree.
That's more or less what I've heard. I've had some people who are a little bit more higher on it than others. Um, and it's just like I get it. You guys are
Yeah.
enjoying it more, probably looking
Uh-oh.
forwed to it more.
And we
But
got a
but
Mr.
yeah, that's
Martin.
pretty much where I
Oh,
thought it
there
would
you go.
land. It's just for me personally, it's like it's just not the type of game that, like you said, for full price. It's like, yeah, I'm not.
I don't think that and it's a shame because you actually have played looter games, not necessarily the shooty kind, but
Mhm.
hey, you really like Monster Hunter World, and you
Yeah,
liked what you were doing there, and
for
and
sure.
it's not like you're completely averse to it. It's just
No, I'm not, and it's just the. I mean, what makes me not want to do it is it requires dedication and to be there at least once or twice a week with your crew, with you. I mean, in this case, you can play by yourself, sure.
mm,
But with Monster Hunter World, it's like, and you can also play Monster Hunter World by yourself, yes. But that's what made me kept going back. It was always a different crew. I
mm,
would randomly run into some people who were playing, and at one point it's with Dark, another point it's with Luna, another point it's with, you know what I mean? It's just like,
mm,
it was fun because as hunters you would kind of gather up and hey, what are you working on? All right, let's work on that together. You know what I mean? And that
mm,
was always the draw of it. And I think I just had more time back when that game came out. I don't have the time like I used to. And so that's why I'm like, as much as I'd love to go back to Monster Hunter World playing with these guys, I told you last week it was embarrassing how inept I was in that game after playing that much time going, man, I'm doing really well. You know what I mean? And but that's now over 2 years ago. You know, maybe even more that I've been playing the game. And now I picked it up. I felt like you know how you ever hear that joke where when your kid brother wants to play, you give him the controller that's not plugged in. You know what I mean? And so that's how I felt last week. And it's it's not a good feeling. And these and I
Yeah.
in no way do I want to hinder. And I also I love these two, for the record, Chaos and Dart, because I know that they don't care. They just want to play together. It's more
Yeah.
about the camaraderie for them.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I would feel like I'm missing something, and maybe I'll eventually catch up with that. But that's down the road somewhere, you know what I mean? And I don't know if I would just want to. I feel like I'm stepping over your segment, bro.
No, no,
But
no, no,
anyway,
no, no.
yeah,
No, it's because I know I totally get it. That's the same way I felt with the division, especially. I felt like, dude, you guys are not making any progress. I'm holding you back, and they're like, no, 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 it's okay. We're gonna get you there. They're so invested on just playing and
yeah, just the
the
camaraderie, yeah,
camaraderie.
yeah. Mhm.
Exactly. Just play. It
And
doesn't matter.
respect to them for that. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah,
said, I love them
absolutely.
both for that, for real, for real.
Absolutely. Second day after they each of them got him, and one of them had already beaten it. I'll let you guess who. And they were both like 10 levels higher than me, or if not more. And I played with them, and it was leveling up. They will shut their traps when it was time for a cutscene, for the most part. And we had a great time with this one. Though I like the fact that it doesn't that I don't have to worry, because I understand your point. The If I don't play today, I'll play tomorrow. If I don't play every day, I'm just gonna be falling farther behind. This one in particular is not that type of game, and that's why I have to say again. Oh, that's why I don't feel like this is your typical gas game, because I feel like those type of games, it's all about having you engage in the game, because that's how they make the money. The more time you spend in the game, the higher are the chances of you going like, okay, sure, I spent $5. I'll spend $5 on this shader or whatever. So you don't get that vibe here.
I still say, I mean, they don't have any microtransactions like individual 99 cents, $1.99 transactions, but I would bet dollars to donuts, bro, that you're going to have an expansion that's a pay for expansion. You know what I mean? Or some
I
sort of
mean,
DLC or whatever.
that's every. I mean, that's every game that is No Man's Sky, bro.
Yeah, well, that's
that's
what I'm saying.
that
If
is
you,
the way.
if,
You have not guessed anything extraordinary.
well, that's
That
what I'm
is every
saying. That
game,
in
regardless of if it's gas or not.
in that
Every expansion
alone,
should be paid.
no. Well, I mean, yes, every expansion should be paid. What I'm just trying to say is that desire to jump to the next thing because people are having new gear or new whatever, you know what I'm saying? That's still going to be there because they want you to be in that world, and they will eventually dangle the carrot. You know what I mean? And they're not doing it now, but they will
Mhm.
eventually do it. And many people jump for it. And when your friends jump for it, you're going to go, well, it's only $9.99. Fuck it. I'm playing it, and that's the whole trick. So,
But
and yes, in the end,
if
it's
that's
still
what
a,
I.
it's a service. It's still it's to me, it's still a
Yeah.
live service game. Is it?
Yeah, no,
Is
I
it?
get it.
What do you call it? Is it?
I get that. It's not predatory, but it's still game
Correct.
as
It's not
service in the sense
predatory.
that it's meant to keep. Yeah, but then like by that broad definition, like every game is a game as service almost, except God of War, for example. Any game that will offer you later on, like Doom, for example, it came up with expansions, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I want more actual game. What I don't want, if it's gameplay what that you're giving me, then I want more of that. If it's a game that I'm enjoying.
No, no,
But
for
if
sure,
it's
for
a
sure. Yeah.
if it's a freaking like, oh, just get this season, the season pass for the whatever, that's where you go like, oh, fuck you, you're just another one of those. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying this doesn't have the chance of becoming that, because hey, the system is there for season
Yeah.
pass. I could definitely
Yeah.
see it. I'm just saying it like, this is not doing that day one. Like right now, there's none of that. It is completely devoid of that, and that's probably as far as I will go playing it all the way
Mhm.
to the end game, until unless they fix a lot of the things like the movement and other things that make me be more invested in the world. Like I said, it's a middle of the road. It's a seven, bro. It's not.
A solid
It's the
seven.
most. It's the most. Not even solid. It's just you're tinkering there with. I'm gonna give you a
It
seven just because you have me engaged here, but
it's a flaccid seven.
it's
Gotcha.
a
Okay.
it is a flaccid seven. Ew.
Oh man.
Speaking of flaccid, no, no, wait, there's no
Wow.
segue there that could properly work. I'm just gonna talk to you about the one thing that I watched because I did watch something, and then I'm gonna hand it to you.
Yeah.
Uh, there was there was no movie, but
What?
there was an interesting documentary that you might be interested in checking out.
Okay.
That documentary is called Operation Varsity Blues. So, what is Operation Varsity Blues? You might be wondering. Well, this is something that actually happened very, very recent as 2019. In 2019, there was a scandal that came into light that had to do a lot with public figure parents, including artists and CEOs and rich influential people,
Oh, I
and
know what
how
happened. Yeah.
they undermine the proper undergraduate college
Hmm.
admission procedures to get their own kids into these Ivy League prestigious
Prestige college.
universities.
Yep. Hmm.
Yeah. I'm talking about like Harvard, Princeton, Columbia, Yale, MIT, Stanford, those type. Um, it came, it came it came in the news last year, or I think in 2019, and it was all orchestrated by this one man, William Rick Singer. He primarily used two fraudulent techniques to help these rich folks, children, gain admission, and it was usually either cheating on their college entrance exams or fabricating the elite sport credentials.
Mm.
Basically, he'll put them into sports that nobody will care to do research because, like water polo, who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's put some. So let's just say that he or she is, an excellent polo player, even though their social media has never made any mention of them being in practice or having any interest whatsoever fucking ever. And these universities will turn a blind eye, I guess, because the money was coming in. So
Oh,
it's
for
a
sure. Yeah. It's the
it,
same old why.
it's the thing that has the whole system corrupt, bro. Um, it's a reenactment type of documentary. It's really interesting. Um, it's basically like you can see, bro, how fucked up we have tons of broken systems, healthcare system being like in the forefront of it. But even the whole educational system, at the college level, how we are brainwashing our children into thinking that if they don't go to college or they don't go to well, in general, they don't go to college, they are not worth shit. But more specifically, elitist parents telling, brainwashing their kids into like, if you don't get accepted into this type of colleges, you know, then you ain't worth shit. Even though you're probably worth like your fucking bedroom has a net worth of $200 million just because that is the CEO of whatever
Hmm.
racketeer, dark criminal, or whatever shit. It's like you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like it's so and it's so stupid because most of the kids, they just they just want to make the decision. Like the parents, what they will do is without spoiling too much of it, but this is like a general thing that that happens, is they will make him believe, they will make him believe that no, everything's on the up and up. No, you earned this. You gained this on your own. And bullshit. They were playing the system. They were putting money,
Mhm.
and it is, you know, it is sickening. It is ridiculous.
Famously,
Uh,
I was gonna say, famously, the aunt. What was her name? I don't know if you ever saw. Oh my God, what is the
Full
name of
House.
the? Full. Thank you, thank you. So you know what I'm talking about, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Famously, she got into some serious trouble because of that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Dude, her kid was she was like uh an Instagram influencer,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like a big Instagram influencer. I'm talking about like hundreds of thousands of followers already. Like she had it made. She was thinking to herself like, I don't need college. I can just make a living out of this, And because of their parents doing what they did, like they pretty much like destroyed this poor girl's well, I'm not gonna say poor girl, but they pretty much like completely just destroy her career.
Yeah.
you know
Mm-hmm.
because of course now everybody's hating her.
Mm-hmm.
Because
She's attached to it. Yep. Yep.
yeah, exactly. And in some ways, it makes you feel, bad. It always makes you feel bad for these kids, even if they're like fucking entitled brats, some of them or whatever. But it's still wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make you feel any bad whatsoever for the parents. And let me tell you, when justice is served, it is it is delicious.
Nice.
it is best
Delicious.
served cold. Yes, yes.
Nice.
Even though I put it in parentheses, because if this they're just putting in jail people of that high influence, they're gonna get a slap on the wrist. The most they can
Oh, for
get is
sure.
probably
For
like
sure.
6 months, where
Or
they're
even
asking.
even if they got longer, it's Club Med is what it
It's
is.
close,
That's what
man.
it is.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, man. I recommend you watch it. I know you have a heart for these kinds of things.
We do, yeah.
The documentaries, interesting in documentaries like this one. This one, like, it was not like, I don't think it's like the best one that I've seen or anything like that, but certainly learning more about what happened. And it puts it in perspective. It's kind of messed up that it happened, but it is, yeah, I think it's a fantastic documentary, and
Nice.
I'm gonna rate that one 3.5 out of
Out of
5.
5. Okay. All right. Sarah, I'm a little disappointed. I'm imagining you're doing this on purpose, or was that memorable that you have forgotten? But there
Oh,
was a little title called Godzilla versus King Kong that I know you saw.
oh shit!
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I was
yeah.
waiting
You
for.
wanted to you wanted
Yeah.
to jump into this one? Oh, okay. Fuck. I knew that I had something. Yeah, that's how memorable it was. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And what happens is, if I do, if in my head, remember how messed up my head works with days of the week.
I had a
That
feeling
Friday,
you saw
next
it on the
Friday.
weekend. Yep.
So
Yep.
I saw that on the weekend. So that belonged to the last weekend when we did the podcast. So I probably talked about it on that last podcast. So I'm not gonna bring it up. Yes. Good people. I watched Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong, or whatever it was called. I suspect that you did also, and you talked about it last week. See,
Yeah.
you talked about, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I don't remember.
That's
Okay,
what
so
threw
you
you
wanna?
off. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I'm not gonna dwell too long on this, because we already talked about this movie. Did I like it? Yes, I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I enjoy seeing the people from all the different movies together. Obviously, uh, Godzilla and Kong. It's Batman versus Superman. You know that. I mean, no, hold on. I'm not saying that it's that bad. I'm not saying that. What I'm
I know.
saying
I
is
know where
that
you're going with it. Yeah.
there's no stakes.
Yeah.
There's no stakes. You know that, as far as who's gonna win, who's gonna lose. No, stupid dumbass. It's never about
They're both
them.
favorites. No one's
They're
ever
both
going to be. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is not a spoiler, so stop freaking out, okay? You knew that this was not gonna have Kong being victorious over Godzilla or Godzilla being victorious. No, that's not what it's not about.
Although one can argue, I won't spoil
Or
anything.
if you
but one
argue,
can
you're gonna
argue-
spoil.
Yeah, so one can argue that there was kind of a definitive winner. Oh, you know what I mean? But I'll just
Well,
leave it at that.
there was a protagonist. I would say there was a
There was a
protagonist.
protagonist for sure, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I felt like what they did, and this is coming from my part, from my like I was never way too into the monsters and who's Gazora, who is freaking Monster Zero, who is Godzilla. Like I knew Godzilla, I knew King Kong, but that's it.
You knew Mothra, I was
Mothra is the other one. Yeah, I knew Mothra, but like I was never into like the lore of each of them. So when they present the way they present who the ultimate arch nemesis, let's say, really is, I was like, oh, okay, I'm on board. Okay,
Really?
I like it.
So okay. I won't say, obviously I won't say anything, but it
You
was
expected it.
maybe about half hour into the movie where I was like, oh, that's where they're going with this. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
But yeah, no, exactly. And I heard it when you said, oh, it was very
Predictable. Yeah.
predictable, and I figured that you meant, that you meant it in that sense, but I didn't grab that. I wasn't thinking of that because again, I'm not so soaked into that
Into that lore,
universe.
yeah.
So I knew about it, and but it wasn't in the forefront of my mind. So when they introduce it and the way they introduce it, it's like, oh, okay, that was cool. Actually, that makes sense in my head. I mean, nothing makes sense in this movie, but in the nonsensical nonsense of it, I can get behind this.
Oh my god!
I can
nothing,
definitely get behind
There's
this.
so many question marks in
No,
everything in this.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was like, I watched.
But it
this
was a
movie.
fun ride. I think it's really what
It was a very fun ride. Yeah, my dad, he likes this type of movie. He's not a person to know like the lore or anything like that. But you tell him Godzilla, he's absolutely there to watch. You tell him, Kong, he's absolutely going. You tell him Godzilla versus Kong, and he's gonna be calling you to, hey, can I watch it at your house? Can I watch it at your house? and he liked the movie. He liked the movie. He just did not like how he felt like the monsters were a little too cognitive, like they like they act like he wants his monsters to be feral. He wants his monsters to be like completely unhinged and destroying shit and not
That's
speaking
great.
fucking sign language and shit. It's like, no,
That is great.
he doesn't want
Like,
any of that.
I
He
want
was
my
like-
monsters to be monsters. I
he
don't
was
need them
monst-
to have
Thank you very
personalities.
much.
Please,
Yes,
thank you.
exactly. Don't try to have them like, no, none of that.
God.
None of
so
that.
funny.
So,
Nice.
but yeah. I did enjoy the movie. Like I said, it is a fun ride. This movie was very enjoyable, and I'm gonna stop talking about it because
No,
Matt already
score.
talking enough about it. I am gonna give it a score, and it's gonna be a solid 4 out of 5 for me.
Nice. Okay. Good stuff. I landed at a 3, but
You landed at
but
3.
yeah, you remember I landed at 3. Yeah, which is good.
Why
That
you
was
hate it?
That's not hating. I said it was good.
Wait, what's a 4? What's a 4 is a really.
A 4 is
really,
great.
It's great.
Yeah.
This movie was really good.
It's not good. So then it's a
It's pretty good.
3.5. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, a 3.5. There you go. My final score is a 3.5. Yeah, no, it makes sense because great will be like, okay, it will have to be the same movie, but now it had moments where it actually gave
Made
me
sense?
the chill. It makes sense, or
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It'll have to be sensible moments or nice reveals or stuff like that. Not stuff that I have to like completely twist my mind into accepting these facts for whatever, I mean, it's a monster movie for crying out loud. Like, what are we expecting, right? But
Exactly.
have some respect for the source material, people. Come on. The fuck am I doing? Talking sign language to it? You know what? I'm not gonna. I'm not.
Okay.
I know. Yeah. I know. There was that. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, fair enough, sir. I'm first of all, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I did
Yes.
also, and I already spoke about it, so I won't go back into that. But real quick, as far as gaming, guys, it's only been Disco Elysium. However, I only had a few
Ooh.
hours into it, maybe 3 hours if I remember correctly,
Wow.
into the game. Now I'm well into the game. You know?
20 hours later.
Yeah, it is still an excellent game. Nothing has lost its shine. I'm understanding the systems better. The systems are complicated, but on the same time, they never lose you. I still love the voice acting. I still love the craziness of the shit that you can do and say and still get away with sometimes, and then sometimes not get away with.
Nope.
You know what I mean? I love the voices in your head. I've gotten an understanding how to unlock more of it, and really craft your person. There are more mysteries involved, which I have been opening up, which I'm even more into, and now the area itself is expanded, so I'm kind of past the beginning area, more into the rest of the area that's available for you to go to. And yeah, man, it's an excellent game. It's still great. I won't, like I said, I'm not going to spend much time on this as I did last time, but
Are you still playing the sleazy? Well, no, not sleazy. What was your other character?
It was
Sherlock.
a Sherlock, yeah. But now
Yes.
I've gone into a more drug-filled Sherlock.
Drug field. Of course, he had to become a
So-
fucking addict.
So, well, I mean, realistically, a lot of versions of Sherlock have always had him be
An alcoholic.
someone with a lot of vices, and usually his rationale was, hey, I need to do this so I can understand, the effects and whatever, but of course a lot of that stuff is addictive, so you end up becoming addicted and stuff like that. But it is it's funny when a person, like, you're interviewing somebody in the middle of a case or something like that, and you're looking for information, and then something she mentioned, like somebody you're speaking to is mentioning, oh yeah, that's just a ship that comes in every so often, but I think they're sneaking drugs on. And then this little thing in your head goes, drugs? I wonder if they have the speed. You know what I mean? And then, of course, one of your dialogue options comes, did you see any speed available? And, and it's like, and of course, you don't have to use it, but of course, my particular guy, it's like, and by the way, one of my directives or missions that I need to do is find speed and use it. So I'm like, I need to do this, and so I need to know. Yeah. It is. I can't express how just ridiculous and yet heartwarming. I'm not even gonna lie. There's a couple of characters that you run into and you talk to, and again, because it's completely voice acted and excellently written, you really, really get a feel for these people, the characters in the game. I'm like, man, this is, and then of course at that point, I'm back on your Sherlock. I'm not the drug fuel guy. I'm trying to be more sympathetic, you know what I mean, to the situation because of whatever. But anyway, so yeah, still playing Disco Elysium, still awesome. Loving every minute of it. But I have watched a few things, and first and foremost, I'm just gonna get this out of the way, because I just saw it recently. I kind of a rewatch. I saw the Da Vinci Code again because it was something we ended up throwing on. And did you ever see the Da Vinci Code?
No.
Okay. So first off, you should watch it because it's a great little mystery. Just don't take anything it says for real, which a lot of people did. A lot of people walked away from the film.
I remember the hoopla that happened around that time. Yeah.
It's like, guys, fiction. The book it's based on sits in the fiction section. I'm just saying. It is a compelling mystery, and what it uses to tell the mystery you can see why people would be taken to that point where like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
I wonder if this is a real thing,
Yeah.
Anyways, with Tom Hanks, Audrey Tautou, Sean Reno, some good stuff there. It's an older film from 2006, so it's a while ago. But
Yeah.
I realized in my rewatch, first off, it's a long film too. It's like 2 hours and a half. Like I forgot how long it was. I was like, damn, this shit is like for real. And I also forgot how much of it was like if it didn't do certain things, it would just be exposition dumps. You know what I mean? Because you're it's a mystery of stuff that happened back in the past, and so the character is telling the story of that to another person, whatever. The good thing is they don't do the mistake that a lot of movies and stuff do, which is they decide to tell, not show. In this case, they show, not just tell. So as they're telling the story, you are seeing the reenactments of it. So it's like, okay, well, this still feels like a film here. Like you're actually watching something as opposed to a couple of people sitting around the table talking. But anyway, it's pretty cool. I don't, we just rewatched it, so I didn't want to spend too much time in it. The other two things I saw were actually two series, and I saw both in completion, essentially. The first one is Bridgerton. Bridgerton is an insane show, for the record. It's a Netflix show. So it's only on Netflix. It's only season 1. I don't know if they're going to do season 2. I think it's in the books. It's only one season. I think it was like 8, maybe 10 episodes long. It wasn't that very long. So what it is about a family, the Bridgerton family, during what they call the Regency era in England, particularly during the season where the daughters that are, how should I say this, of age to be wedded are presented to the queen, and suddenly it's the season where you can get a lot of gentlemen callers to maybe court the daughters for them to eventually marry and stuff like that. As probably as I don't know, uninteresting as that sounds, you know what I mean? I was not interested in the first. Yeah, I was not interested in the first maybe episode and a half. By the time I got to episode 3, for a reason, the show had its hooks on me at this point. You know what I mean? I didn't even realize it, and suddenly I'm interested in what's going on. Mostly because I got a good understanding as to, because it's not based on a true story, but it is based on true events. This is what used to happen. And I learned so much shit, like what a dowry is. I never knew that. For the longest time I've heard that, the children's dowry. Never knew what the hell that was. And I had to look it up. And this show kind of, inspired me to learn more about it. And
we'll be offended if you don't do that shit right.
Yeah.
And it still happened to this day.
Well, I don't know if in England it still happens to this day.
Not England.
Yeah, it is. It definitely, like the other movie I mentioned, which was last week, A Suitable Girl, which takes place in India. That still happens there. You know what I mean? So, it makes me wonder sometimes too if one like culture influenced the others have that. You know what I mean? To this day, I don't know, or did they both have it and it was just coincidence? They just both happened to have that, because India spent like God knows how long under British rule. So it's like you figure that kind of, I would feel that was something that they, I don't know, picked up on because of their the colonization of it. Anyway, that's beside the point. This is an interesting scenario where these people fall in love. The story's told a little bit differently. In the sense that sometimes there's music playing. The music is played with instruments and all that stuff, but if you listen to it well enough, you realize, oh, that's a Britney Spears song. That's interesting. It's weird. Obviously, this was not my choice to watch, for the record. If anybody's wondering, it was not.
No judgment.
Yeah. That said, again, I was pretty hooked until the end. And it's a really cool thing. It is a very, very beautiful London, where it's like, yeah, this is not what London looked like. This is just way too clean. I mean, everything's way too bright. Not that I've not that I've been into that London at any point, but it's really the most pristine looking 18th century film or series. Anyway, I won't talk about it. It's a big show in the sense that when it came out, and it came out earlier, I think probably February or something like that, to Netflix, and it became one of the hit shows that they had. So my wife added it to the list for shows, and we just threw it on. So, but we finished
Yep.
first season. I can recommend it if any of that sounds interesting. If none of it does, then I don't blame you for steering clear. I'm just saying,
I'm gonna go on my list. Hold on, let me make sure that I go on my Netflix and oh, here is the button. Block. All right.
deleted.
I just want to make sure that my wife doesn't accidentally, follow it and makes me watch it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame. Like I said, it was not on my list, but I will give my wife credit that I enjoyed it. So, the last thing I saw was a series. This is on Disney Plus, and I finally got to see the first season, and I think it's the only season. At least that's my theory of WandaVision. And yes, WandaVision, which is technically the very first property of Phase 4. And I can tell you without a doubt that they nailed this shit, bro. I was, if you've seen you've seen the trailers or you've seen the stuff for it, it looks like it's an I Love Lucy, whatever, and you're like, what is this about? What is happening? This doesn't make sense. Vision is dead. He, spoilers for nobody who's seen Infinity War or Endgame. Vision did die. That's been years. Let's move on.
He never died.
Yeah. And to be fair, he wasn't really alive, was he? I mean, it's questionable where he was anyway.
Yeah.
And
to be fair, he's kind of a ridiculous character to begin with. And the idea of the romance idea made as much sense as Master Chief and Cortana.
The difference there, of course, is Vision was able to make himself look human. So at least, at least there's something.
He said he wants it.
We don't know what he was. We know he can pick up Thor's hammer. That's all we know. You know what I mean? It's like okay. But so can an elevator, right? Am I right? So wow. Anyway,
never thought of that. That makes sense. Mind blown.
Anyway, the show is really, really good. Special effects wise, where it lands in the MCU wise. Credit to both Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany, who play Vision and Wanda. They were excellent. It pays homage to these old shows. I want to say anything is to spoil it. So I don't think you personally, Dream Twister, have any interest in it, but I still don't want to mention anything here as far as that. But I will say,
obviously, there are going to be people that are going to.
Yeah, I will say that I was, I was a little bit, I wasn't sure, and here's another thing I would say. I think I would have dropped off this show if I'd have watched it the way it came out, which was one episode per week. The reason I think was great is because I was able to kind of go through the first few episodes faster, and not that the first few episodes were bad. It's just they left so many question marks where it was like, I have to wait a week to get the next thing, and it doesn't. It doesn't start. The first, I want to say the first 3 episodes, it's all question marks. It's just you're just consistently hit with what the fuck is going on. You have no clue, and it's not until about that point where it doesn't answer everything, but you're picking up. Oh, that's what that means. Oh, okay. And now you're getting some answers to stuff. But if you watch the first way it came out, you're waiting a month to get to that point because of the way the episode structure is. So I'm glad I watched it this way.
So would you say that watching it the original way would have like when you say you're asking like, okay, what the fuck is going on? Is it a good what the fuck is going on? I can't wait to find out, or what the fuck is going on? this is stupid.
Well,
Come on.
it's not stupid. First off, I enjoyed even because again, it looks and feels like those old sitcoms
Uh-huh.
in certain points,
They have
and
laugh tracks also.
it has laugh tracks. It has it's literally that. Now, what's happening? Everything obviously gets explained in the end. I won't go into that, but early on, it's a lot of that, and I enjoyed it. But because it was a little trickle out each week, each episode of what's going on. I don't know is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I would have just been like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to go back, and I probably would have gone back, and then it would all just blow me away at that point.
Mhm.
But watching it the way I did, which was, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't all in one shot. It was like I think over two days we watched it all, and it's only 9 episodes, and the episodes are like 30 minutes long. They're not long either. So
Oh, okay. Wow.
yeah, it's faster thing. That's the other thing. You watch the first episode, it's 30 minutes. You have nothing answered other than the fact that why are we in the 50s? Why is it black and white? Why is it in 4:3? Why is it
Why is Vision alive?
Yeah, why is Vision alive? We have no idea. You know what I mean? But overall, I'm not going to spend much time more time on this, but overall, really, really, really impressed with what they did. And obviously, I don't think from what I saw, it feels like it's a complete tale. I don't think it's going to go further from this as far as WandaVision goes. I'm sure Wanda and Vision and whatever, those things may continue in some other, either movie or whatever, perhaps, who knows? But this felt like a really well contained season where if they do nothing ever again, it's fine. You know what I mean? It's good the way it goes. And but man, props, dude, props, because I was doubtful, beforehand. I was like, and then when you get what you get, I'm just like, this is really good. This is really, really good. And so yeah, man, fucking Disney and Marvel, these fuckers just, I don't know.
I mean, they made it that one. That's great. That's great to hear.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen any of the others. Well, Loki's not out yet, but Falcon and Winter Soldier is actually airing now. But again, it's a weekly thing, and I'm like, nope, I'll wait for it all to be done. You know what I mean? So, but I did want to watch this, and I'm glad that I did. And honestly, of everything I've seen, I would highly recommend this show if you are familiar with the MCU. If you're not familiar with the MCU, then I feel like I'm speaking Chinese or French to you right now because you have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you are familiar with the MCU, you are getting a really well told story here. And it obviously includes certain characters. It makes perfect sense. Everything is done well. It is shot extremely well. This is movie quality. I mean, in short, this is movie quality stuff that you're seeing here in a series form, which I think honestly is the future, bro. The more and more I think about it, I think this is the way I want to watch things, which is why I am actually extremely excited for the Last of Us series, because I'm like, man, that's the best way you're going to be able to tell that story. In essence, you're gonna be able to flesh everyone out. You're gonna be able to flesh the what's going on. It's not going to feel rushed within 2 hours, because that's not what The Last of Us was. And I think that's the best way to tell the tale. And so, yeah, I think the way TV is now is the best way to go. But anyway, that's a long way to say that that's all I've been doing. And we are back, guys, and it is time for our useless news that you can
use.
I'm going to start with what I considered at one point, not so much now, but at one point, the biggest news of the week. And so this was from a Jason Schreier article that actually got published today. So this morning is when I was thinking this was the biggest news for the record.
Yeah.
Jason
Until
Schreier.
reality slapped you in the face.
Yeah. Well, when I started digging into the article, I realized, okay, so there is some good stuff here, but some of this feels a little bit blown out of proportion. So the article's title says, it's called, Sony's obsession with blockbusters is stirring unrest within the PlayStation empire. And so what it basically goes into is there is a group within Sony Corp called the Visual Arts Service Group. And these are what many would consider the unsung heroes of PlayStation games, because these guys are essentially the finishers. Visual Arts Service Group is actually a group within Sony Corp that essentially finishes helps in finishing games. This includes everyone in first party up to the unstoppable Naughty Dog. When they're having trouble finishing a game, they come to, these guys come in and assist to make sure everything assist basically in crunch. Let's be real, to make sure that the games come out well. Michael Mumbauer is the one who essentially took direction of this group back in 2007, and he's recruited a bunch of people. And at some point, he felt the need to make his own game, to make something special. Their first project was going to be and this is recently, a remake of the original Uncharted, which. Pausing here from the article, when I heard this, I was like, when I read this in the article, I was like, why are they remaking that? Don't we have an already remastered version of it that looks extremely well and is on PlayStation 4? And then that means it's also on PlayStation 5. You know what I mean? So I was a little taken back by that. I was like, okay, it is what it is. Well, whatever. But they did move on. The next idea that they were going to do was to remake 2013's The Last of Us for PlayStation 5. Again, a game that came out in 2013, which is the tail end of PlayStation 3, also has a PlayStation 4 version. The plan was to make this into the look and play just like Last of Us 2 and possibly be bundled with, like a bundle version where you have 1 and 2. This is the project that we're working on more recently. Unfortunately, due to some changes, it has deflated the group. Some of the people have left or just been disbanded. The group itself has never been given a name. They don't have they don't have an internal name like Sony Bend or Sony London, or they're just this group. You know what I mean? That just does that. Really, finishers is what they do. Again,
the Expendables.
The Expendables. Yeah. The Suicide Squad, if you will. So this, of course, is news coming off of some recent news. I think from, I want to say this was last week, but you may have heard that Sony was winding down game development at one of its oldest first-party studios, which is Japan, Sony Japan Studio. Yeah. And it led to a mass exodus of folks who worked over there. So essentially, Jim Ryan, the main Sony guy, has gone on record as saying that they don't want to do smaller titles. They want to focus on bigger blockbusters. And the focus on this also came out from this article where Oregon-based Sony Bend, which is best known recently for Days Gone, tried unsuccessfully to pitch a sequel that year in 2019 for Days Gone 2. Instead, what was the guy's name? The guy who headed up Guerrilla Games. Hold on, I'm getting his name here. Oh dear Lord, what is his name? Anyway, the point is he became one of the bigger heads, and the idea and everything was pitched to him, and he said no. They basically just said nah. And so here now, sidebar again from the actual article. This is where a lot of people are like, oh my God, how can you stunt, creativity? This is like, yeah, I don't recall Days Gone blowing anybody away or blowing the money away. So that sounds like a business decision to me. And it's like, that sounds like a logical business decision where it's like, not only did it not do well, I mean, it did it did well in the fact that there was revenue from it. It's not like it lost money from it, but
Mm.
it wasn't it wasn't a huge success. And critically, I think it ended at a 7.5, maybe an 8 or something like that. Maybe I think 7.5. I'll lean towards 7.5.
7.5 actually. Yeah.
And on top of that, it's a zombie game. You know what I mean? Regardless of what they choose to call it. I mean, those are a dime a dozen at this point. So again, it's like when you look at the actual landscape and you go, well, that sounds like the most logical business
Yeah.
choice, then of course the article goes into a little bit in depth as to the next project, which again they were going to go back to remaking The Last of Us, the original, and then what ended up happening is Sony put in a few people from Naughty Dog to help out, and of course these people worked on the original Last of Us, so suddenly they're the ones kind of taking control, and then suddenly Last of Us 2 fell behind, and because it fell behind, this group who are the finishers kept stop what you're doing, we need you to help them finish Last of Us 2, and they of course helped them finish it. And then towards the end, the when they finally shipped or got everything Last of Us 2 out and all this, unfortunately when they went back to start working on the remake of The Last of Us, it was actually just given to Naughty Dog in general. So it was just, at that point they were just not, and obviously it can be demoralizing. I'll give them that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I don't see a lot of. So first off, I do see a lot of confusion as to what Sony's doing, and I guess that's more the reason I even bring up this article is.
I mean, putting it when you compare it against the successes that they have very recently, it kind of makes you wonder, like, okay, so what are they up to next? And hearing that they were considering, this remakes, I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I'm not
I
sure
know how I
anybody
feel
asked
about
them.
that. Yeah, exactly. You said it exactly. I don't, no one's asking for that because those people who want that already played that, because these games are not
Recently
20 years
too.
old. Yeah, it was like they're not that old, and they're consistently being ported over. You know what I mean? Last of Us 2, Last of Us, the PlayStation 4 version is an already excellent version that plays at 60 frames on PlayStation 4. So it's like, what else do you want? You know what I mean? Unless you're remaking in the sense that you're retelling the story. And then in that case, wait, what's the point of the HBO story? Well, that's what they were doing there. You know what I mean? So I don't know, bro. The story itself, or the focus of this particular article, feels like it's, again, much ado about nothing. But at the same time, it does bring to question some of the decisions that Sony's making, particularly Jim Ryan, who's kind of on the hot seat at the moment, who's been called as opposed to, say, Sean Layden, who was the prior CEO, in the sense that Sean Layden is still known to be an avid gamer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jim Ryan is not. He's a businessman. And I start wondering and start worrying. I'm going, is Jim Ryan Sony's Don Matrix?
Oh God,
What's going on here?
Oh hell no.
And we say hell no, but at the same time, you look at these decisions and you're just like, I don't know if I kind of like where this is going. You know what I mean? So
This sounds a little Activision-y. Like it has a sprinkle of why are we remaking this again?
Exactly. I don't know. And again, Japan studio. And don't get me wrong. I'll be the first to say the Japan studio takes way too fucking long to make games. You know what I mean? So I don't blame them for going, look, guys, we're not, you guys are taking too fucking long. You know what I mean? In the span that it took to make the Last Guardian. Yeah, you had all of the Uncharted come out. It's just like, what the fuck, so I don't blame them. You know what I mean? And then when you finally got the Last Guardian, you go, yeah, it was okay. So
exactly.
I don't blame him, and it sounds to me like a logical business decision. In the end, you don't want people to crunch, but at the same time, do you want to take 10 years per game? That's not, that's not going to be beneficial. You're not going to be able to make money off of that. So
no.
So
And in a way, when you think about it, if they're saying no to this remake, maybe that's
the Last of Us remake is still a thing. They
Oh
said no
shit.
to the Uncharted remake.
The Uncharted. So the
Yeah.
Last of Us. Oh shit. Okay,
Yeah,
that's what
Last
got
of
me
Us
worried.
remake coming for
Never
PlayStation
mind.
5. Yeah, that's the report. Yeah. And it's
Okay.
like, okay, because somebody asked for that, I guess. you know, I just feel
Well,
like the resources can be like, I get it. The focus is on big AAA, really tent pole titles. I get that. And I agree with that. But a lot of your ecosystem has to have these smaller titles, which is why Shuhei Yoshida
mm,
is the one who's he's the one rounding up a lot of these indies. He's part of, I don't know I can't remember what the department is called, but he's part of that, where he's going out and cherry picking a lot of these uh indie titles to bring exclusive to PlayStation. Is like, great, that's what you need. You gotta have the full spectrum. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, you want the tent pole. Yeah, you want people to come to you for a reason, but you still have to have the full spectrum. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the decisions. But
yeah. I mean, if it's true that they are, because I was thinking, oh, maybe if they're cutting off this remake, that means that they're probably focusing on new IP. That's what they should. That's what fucking Naughty Dog should be considering already. That
agreed.
they already did. Last of Us. Obviously, you're not getting any, or at least I'm not expecting to see DLC for it. I'll be surprised, and I'll be pleasantly surprised. If something out of the left, it doesn't even have to continue the story. It could be some offshoot
Yeah.
thing.
Some
Use that.
weird, yeah.
You can
What if
you
or
reuse
something,
the
yeah.
you
Hmm.
can reuse the assets, exactly. Reuse the assets that way. Don't fucking remake something that you have, especially something that you have already remade. You're just gonna get
Exactly.
a reputation.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, so devaluing this brand. Um, you want to know what is not coming to PlayStation 5
Oh boy.
yet? I would say it's coming to PlayStation 5. Don't worry, just not yet. Bethesda delays Death Loops again.
Mhm.
Deathloop, Deathloop. Now launching in September.
Mhm.
Bethesda's PC and PS5 console exclusive Deathloop has been further delayed and will now launch on the 14th of September of this year. So far, in a statement issued, developer Arcane Lion, I didn't know that was the name of it,
Delay, yeah.
said it wanted the prior it wanted to prior it wanted to priority the health and safety of everyone working in the game. Okay, I can see that. We've made the decision to delay the launch of Deathloop to 14th of September 2021. We're still committed to quality and preserving our team's ambition for Deathloop while ensuring the health and safety of everyone at Arcane. We'll be using this extra time to accomplish our goal, creating a fun, stylish, and mind bending player experience. We apologize for the extended wait and thank you for all the passion and excitement. It is the fuel that powers our creativity and yada, yada, yada. Yes, okay. So the next game from Play Development and Dishonored from Prey and Dishonored Studio Arcane, Deadloop was originally due to arrive in 2020 before being pushed back to May of 2021. It will now arrive in PCs and PS5 September 2021 with a 12-month console exclusivity window before it turns up on Xbox Game Pass in September of 2022. Oh yes, actually, that means Xbox. Your version has just gotten delayed until September 2022. So there it is. How you feeling
Oh,
about?
Deathloop.
Yeah, yeah.
I honestly, and I can ease. That's my issue. That's probably my one of my biggest weaknesses is I can get swept away by a trailer. I can get swept away and just go, "Dear Lord, this looks too fucking good."
Mm.
And the last Deathloop trailer I saw, which felt like this awesome ode to James Bond, really had me like, I'm in. I'm in. Here's my money. I'm in. You know what I mean? So that's the excitement level that I was at. The more time passes, the more I come to my senses and go, okay, let's wait. This is Bethesda, and I think I had a boycott at some point, and I don't know, maybe it's just been too long. I don't remember if I've lifted that for some reason, but I had Doom Eternal, so maybe I did. So I'm not sure where I'm at with them right now. And this isn't Bethesda Studios, this is Arcane, so maybe I'm all right. A lot of these thoughts just come in before you know it. It's just like, oh, okay, we'll wait for reviews. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Delayed till September. Here's my issue right now, man. So many things are being delayed that by the time they start rolling out, dude, it's going to be a cannibalization fest. You know what I mean? It's just like everything is going to be cannibalizing something else. And while that's great for gamers, because it's all about gamer choice and all this stuff, it's also one of the things where like, I can't play all this. It's just too much going on.
I could kill a franchise because
exactly. At some point, you look at it and go, they may have to delay, not because it's not ready, but it's just like we got to get it away from other things. You know what I mean? Because it's just not. It's
Cyberpunk is right there.
Cyberpunk. So, side note, back to Cyberpunk. There's a video I'm going to share with you. I think it was actually a Bloomberg one too. Also with Jason Schreier. It's a video, and it was kind of like the history of the Cyberpunk when everything, whatever. So I'm going to share that with you, and I'll probably put it in the group too. Actually, I will put it in the group. But anyway, it just really reminded me how all these games that I've been playing since January, it's like this was all time that was dedicated to Cyberpunk, dude. I was just like, this is all that I'm gonna be doing this time, and I'm not touching it. The most recent update, I went, took a look at it, I saw what they were saying about it, and there's some improvements and all this other bullshit, but in the end, it's not anywhere near it needs to be. So it's like the wait continues. You know what I mean? It's like I said, by the time if it comes out, when all that other new shit's coming out, say, hold your Cyberpunk, dude, I'm never gonna get to it. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm never gonna get to it.
I tell you what they're gonna do. They're gonna do a marketing for re-release. They're just gonna call it something else, and it's gonna be the same game but fixed, and it is free for anybody that has purchased it, because of course, they're not gonna make.
I'm sure we're gonna get some DLC that's gonna be free, because I mean, the reality is CD Projekt Red has always been about, they are gamers. It's about the gamer. It's about gamers first and all this other stuff. And that's the reputation they had. And what they did completely tarnished that reputation. So I can see them easily doing, we're gonna upgrade all this stuff, and probably the first DLC will be free for you guys who held off, and blah 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 blah. But at that point, it's just gonna be, it may be too little too late. And not that it matters. They made the money back, so fuck them. Anyway,
but at what cost?
My next piece, guys. The United States' largest Muslim advocacy organization has called on Microsoft, Sony, and Valve to deplatform the forthcoming 6 Days in Fallujah, a first-person shooter recreating the American military's offensive in the Iraqi city almost 17 years ago. In a statement published Wednesday, the Council on American Islamic Relations called 6 Days of Fallujah an, quote, Arab murder simulator, end quote. That, quote, glorifies violence that took the lives of over 800 Iraqi civilians, justifies the illegal invasion of Iraq, and reinforces Islamophobic narratives, end quote. 6 Days in Fallujah is set in November 2004 at the height of the second battle to retake the city from insurgent forces. The game was originally proposed in 2009 by Atomic Games to be published by Konami, but immediate and widespread condemnation of the work led to Konami shelving the project. Atomic Games unfortunately went bankrupt in 2011, but the studio's former president, Peter Tamte, reconstituted the project under his new publishing company, Victura. Victoria in February announced the Highwire Games was developing 6 Days in Fallujah and will launch later this year. What's funny is that no platform has been announced yet, but you have the organization already calling on the major platforms.
Well, because they know that's their. If they want to sell this game, those are the platforms they're going to target, right?
Microsoft, Sony, and Valve, which would be PC. So my only so I can kind of see where this is coming from. There's well-known facts that in a lot of Middle Eastern nations, there is a lot of gaming. Believe it or not, I don't know if it's online, regular online that we can be part of, but definitely online gaming where with these games that we don't have access to because they're designed and made to shoot Americans. You know what I mean? So that's just probably will never make it over here. But
Hmm.
so in many
Well, I
ways,
mean, it's only
people
fair. We're constantly making games where we shoot Russians,
the
we
yeah, that's what
shoot
I'm saying.
Arabs. So it's
Exactly,
like,
and
yeah,
it's known in those nations that this is a lot of ways of getting them to sort of indoctrinate younger folks to just go, oh, hey, this is what we got to do in real life,
well, now
whatever.
we're believing in that thing of, well, games inside violence, right? And
Well,
I mean,
no,
can we
that's
say
just
that
what the
Call of
belief
Duty
is.
is brainwashing us? That it,
The no, that's again, that's what the belief is. And
yeah,
so, but that same belief, if you know if you're the one believing that, the same belief would lead you to believe, hey, this particular thing shouldn't be done because that can lead to this. You know what
right,
I mean? And so, just as I feel it's nonsense in any form, I agree. Plus, on top of that, if this were a film, I feel like we wouldn't be hearing anything about it. You know what I mean? It's like, why is it just because it's a game? Do you suddenly? I'm pretty sure there's not going to be a celebration of that I know of. You know, what I mean, you never know, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a celebration of killing Iraqi civilians in this game. You know what I mean? I feel like the developers.
well, if it's
Um,
not Call of Duty, then yeah, probably not. If it's Call of Duty, that's something else. We can
the
sort of expect it.
I mean, a celebration of it. I don't know if it's a celebration. I mean,
I mean,
maybe they're gonna care as it happens, but I don't know if
have
they're gonna
you
be
played
celebrating.
have you played Call of Duty? I think it was Modern Warfare 2. I mean, you
You
live
talking about the one in the airport?
in the airport or the mall or something. Yeah, the airport. I think it was. Yeah, where that's. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
that's just wanton killing of civilians, like right there in black and white. Like,
it is. But
well,
you
in color.
literally don't have to. Like you, if I didn't play this game, first off, so you can correct me if I'm wrong in here, but I did look into it, and you can literally not do anything. Everything still happens around you. And you, if I remember correctly, the character are
Mhm.
not of this organization. You've infiltrated them in some way, but
Yeah.
because of what's going on. So again,
Oh, it
it's
doesn't
more
obligate you,
correct.
but it
It's
gives you
also
the gun. It puts the gun in your head and it puts you in a position. Now, I
correct.
will argue just having you there, it makes you complicit.
But
Because
I will
not
also
you're
yeah,
not avoiding it. There's
but
people
you
are
can't. The
killing.
story's taking you or the mission's taking you there. So
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. So it might as well be that. Well, it might as well just put me into like, well, if I don't shoot anybody, then they realize that I'm
true.
betraying them.
That should be the thing. But at the same time, I think it's more not, and this is not me in any way saying that Call of Duty is deep in any way because I don't think it is. But I'm saying when you look at those things, it's I think someone who was developing this particular moment,
Mm,
maybe more than one, were going. This is going to be that moment where people go, "What do I do?
right,
How do I do this? Do I not do this? How do I feel afterward?" You know what I mean?
right.
And I think it's more meant to put you in a position where because I would think if you're infiltrating an organization and you want to live long enough while doing so,
Mm,
you gotta have to take part in something. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
so I think it's more meant to open a window or shine a light on the scenario that these a lot of these people go through and where like you have these are your orders, this is what you have to do, and you can't blow your cover, so what are you going to do? Because if you do, you're dead, and now god knows how long you've been working on this is all gone. You know what I mean?
yeah. There's a greater good here.
Correct. So it's like, what
Or,
do you exactly what should you do? So I would like to think again, not giving Activision and everybody else this whatever, but I like to think that someone along the line thought of that and said this will be a powerful moment, not because we're celebrating, hey, let's kill these civilians, but more like what would you do or how would the player feel at that moment? And I feel like with 6 Days as a Fallujah, I feel like that would, I mean, first of all, I saw some of the gameplay and it looks okay. It doesn't look like it's an amazing thing, but I feel like I started thinking of what's that game that we always talk about that's so good? It's the
for
first person shooter. They use white phosphorus. Oh God, what was that? Was that
Oh shit. Fuck.
Spectrum? No, it's not Spectrum.
Spec
Something the
Ops.
line. Something the line.
Oh, Spec Ops the line.
Spec Ops the line. Thank you.
Yeah.
Spectrum. What the fuck is wrong with me? Anyway, Spec Ops the line. Gets rave reviews. You know what I mean? All the time. Because of the how it makes you feel in that moment and how the character feels and all that stuff. Where it's like, why is that okay? But when we use a specific incident, you know what I mean? It's not. We use World
Right.
War II. We've been using World War II now for God knows how long. You know what I mean? It's like those things happen. Those battles happen. I don't see anybody
Yeah,
getting
but
upset about it.
we were on this. We were typically on the side, typically on the quote unquote hero
The good
side or
side.
winning side, the good side, or whatever
Yes,
you want to call it.
that is a
That's the
a
catalyst
great way
right
of looking
there.
at it. Yeah.
Usually I bet you anything that is suddenly one of those games that you very well mentioned that were probably AAA in their region and a good game and all, and it is about the invasion or the evilness or evilnization of America, if that's a word, making America be evil.
Great
You
again.
can bet, you can bet I can bet my sweet ass that will not go. That will be censored to fucking hell, because that's our thing, right? It is it is America and fuck everybody else, and we can do to them, but we can dish it out,
Can't
but
be
we
done to
can't
us.
take it. We cannot take it. So
It's the
if
reason. It's like,
suddenly
should
there's
it
a
be that
game
way? Yeah.
glorifying and not that I think they should be glorifying or in any way, but that you are complicit in helping the people that got on the planes that knocked down the towers on 9/11. Like that game will not fly. Absolutely 100%. It will just not get done. That company will be taken out. So I say, you know what? Yes, this events happen. It's creating all this thing. I get it. I personally feel like I don't want anything. I'm not pro censoring or anything like that. I'm thinking, you know what? Probably it's a hot topic. We probably don't want to do this. We probably shouldn't, shouldn't do this for now. But if they happen to do it, that's fine. Hey, that's fine. They get it done. People will complain. Now, when the game comes out, where it is, let's fuck America, then let's not cry about it.
Yeah, you can't cry
Let's
about
not-
that either.
Let's not cry about it. 'Cause-
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, if it's because we
Agreed.
love having the games where we're killing the Chinese, where we're killing the Russians, where we're killing all the Axis that are not, that are not our allies. Well, when
Agreed.
it's time
Yeah.
to turn the tides,
When suddenly you're playing the foreign group and now it's
Yeah.
America that you're fighting against. Yeah, which you're right. That's the whole deal.
that's one of the reasons why Spec Ops the Line was kind of like criticized so much, because suddenly your character you're fighting you're soldiers, and
But look
granted-
how cherished, because it was done well. Again, I haven't played the game, and if there's any game that needs a fucking remake, Sony would be Spec Ops: The Line. I'm just saying.
they probably should.
No, I'm just saying they're
Oh.
wasting time on fucking making remakes we don't want. That's one that people would want. Me being me, because I have not played Spec Ops: The Line. If there's any game that
Like a remake, then
would
remaster.
definitely require that, that's one of them. Because I cannot express how often that game comes up as
Yeah.
one of those pivotal, important games that everybody who played a first person shooter or any type of action game should play. And you literally just nailed it. It got criticized at its time because you were actually taking action against U.S. soldiers at some point.
Mhm.
Whatever happened in the story, how it's happening, it happens. And I get it. No one wants to celebrate stuff like that. But I think a lot of people get lost in what's considered a celebration and what's not. You know what I mean? It's like, it's supposed to feel wrong. That's part of the story. That's what they're trying to tell you. You know what I mean? When this 6 days of Fallujah and the shit that's happening there, it's supposed to feel wrong. You know what I mean? And that's it's almost, I mean, again, I don't want to give credit to this team because I have no idea who's making this and how they're making it, if they're any good at it. You know what I mean? But if they can come out with with something that you walk away and go,
educate you rather
yes,
than
you know what I mean? Yeah.
celebrate, just educate the people. This
Yeah,
is
it's
not
like,
a good
look, this
conflict.
whole
Look,
6 days in Fallujah, if the leaders, if the captain, if the fucking lieutenant, whoever's in charge would have just stepped back, all these lives would have been saved. You know what I mean? If you walk away with that as a whatever, I think that's a well told story then.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But you kind of have to go through the pain of it. You know what I mean? So you can realize the importance of it. So anyway, I don't want to dwell on this any longer. But anyway, that was an interesting story.
That should have been the topic right there. We wasted opportunity,
Yeah.
But that's okay. You know what we should be celebrating?
Mhm.
What we should be celebrating is the fact that E3
Yes.
E3 2021 announced and reimagined as an all virtual event coming in June. It's okay because E3 was always an all digital event
I know.
for the likes of us.
Oh yeah. I never attended, so yeah, it's always digital to me.
yeah. Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Ubisoft, and more to appear at E3 2021. E3 will return in 2021 as a reimagined all virtual event. Organizers announced Tuesday. E3 2021 will take place June 12th to the 15th. So, can you get me those days off, sir?
June 12th to the can I get you those days?
And will feature content from Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, Warner Bros. Games, and Koch Media. The Entertainment Software Association, ESA, said in a news release. Game developers and publishers will showcase their game at E3 2021 directly to fans around the world, the ESA said. E3 2021 content will be free to access thanks to unannounced global media partners. There's a quote that says, "We are evolving this year's E3 into a more inclusive event, but we'll still look to excite the fans with major reveals and insider opportunities that make this event the indispensable center stage for video games." The indispensable game. Oh, interesting choice of words here. Said Stanley Pierre-Louis, president and CEO of this ESA. While this year's E3 will be virtual, organizers say they are planning for an in-person E3 2022.
Oh yeah, by that point, I think we should all be. Dear Lord,
Hopefully.
I hope we should all be back to normal. But
Yeah. And we don't need to go over remembering the last year's E3 was canceled due to COVID. So everybody knows that. So
you said June 12th through the 15th.
June 12th. Let's see, June 12th to the 15th. That's right.
So that actually is a Saturday. June 12th is a Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is actually the 4 days instead of the normal.
Interesting. Makes sense. Makes sense because since they don't have to limit. They don't have to be in the confines of the business day because this is still a business reunion kind of situation, kind of thing. If they put it on a Saturday, more people could attend virtually.
Yeah, I agree. So apparently we only need to take Monday, Tuesday off. I think we're good. I think we're good, sir.
I think we're golden. I would say I have a question though.
Yes, sir.
Where's Sony?
Oh, he's not. They're not there. That's for sure.
Where's Sony? Why are they not there? What are you doing, Sony? Why are you not there? I wanted to see your remaster of the remaster of the remake of the remaster of Last of Us.
Original. Well, I'll tell you where they were. So when Sony Pictures, Uncharted, and Morbius begin streaming in 2022, they'll do so exclusively on Netflix.
On Netflix?
Yes.
I have to pay for Netflix now?
I mean, if that's not part of your bills, I don't know what you're doing with your life. The Uncharted adaptation is currently pegged for a February 18th, 2022 premiere, and Morbius, about the vampire scientist from the Spider Man canon, is slated for a January 21st, 2022 release. Other Sony pictures that will stream exclusively on Netflix include Bullet Train, Where the Crawdads Sing, and the sequels planned for Spider Man Into the Spider Verse and the Venom, Jumanji, and Bad Boys franchises.
Mhm.
The streaming deal spans 5 years, the New York Times reported this Thursday, and starts with all the 2022 releases. Sony and Netflix statement only called it a multi-year agreement. It was later found out by New York Times it's 5 years. It takes place. It takes the place of the agreement Sony had with Stars Entertainment going back to 2006. Sony
Mm.
Pictures is a great partner, and we are thrilled to expand our relationship through this forward-thinking agreement. The head of Netflix Global Films, Scott Stuber, said on a statement. This not only allows us to bring their impressive slate of beloved film franchises and new IP to Netflix in the US, but it also establishes a new source of first run films for Netflix movie lovers worldwide.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so basically, Netflix has dibs on all the Sony
Mhm.
produced films for 5 years at minimum.
He was like, HBO, what? No,
Yeah.
we're not having it. We're not having it. You know who's also not having it, bro? Cliffy
Oh,
B.
shit.
You remember Cliff Blasinski, right?
I do.
He's not having it. This retirement thing, he doesn't jive with him because you know that he's always been a very excitable and very dynamic kind of guy. And Gears of War. Cliff Blasinski may be getting ready to step back into the gaming world. What?
Hmm.
Veteran game developer Cliff Blasinski is teasing a new project over on Twitter. But the Gears of War and Lawbreakers designer is being coy about just what the project is for now. Cliff Blasinski, who you may know also by the very 2000s monikers of Cliffy B or Dude Huge. Dude Huge. I've never heard Dude Huge
Yeah, I was gonna say
ever.
the dude's like 4 feet tall. Come on
I
now.
know that's wrong. Oh, okay. Yeah. I do remember Cliffy B. I didn't think he liked Cliffy B. Achieved infamy in the games industry when he shot to fame thanks to his work as lead designer of Gears of War. Since then, he moved on a range of other projects, including the doomed Lawbreakers and Radical Heights. You remember Radical Heights? Me
I do.
neither.
No, I do. You don't
I
remember?
do, I do
Oh,
also. Yeah, that went to like an alpha, and then it was like, oh no, we're not
yeah.
gonna be able to make this.
Never made it that far.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Radical heights, radical lows. Before taking a break from the industry in 2018, it seems the draw of the gaming world may just be too strong to resist, though. And now Blasinski has confirmed that he's working on a new project. And the tweet says, and yes, for the record, I am working on some new stuff, and you should know every damn day is agonizing not to talk about it.
yeah. Mm.
Deal with it. Love y'all. Chris Wyszynski, April 7, 2021. He also posted a follow-up tweet, seemingly spurred by seemingly I can't see that word. Seemingly spurred on by rampant speculation that he is definitely working on a game. Quote says, "Bear in mind, it might not be necessarily a video game." He added later. Ah, now
Oh,
it's a table
yeah.
game,
Tabletop game.
tabletop
Yeah.
game. But what could it be? It was almost certainly not connected to the Gears of War franchise, since that's now in the capable hands of Microsoft Coalition Studio. Plus, as Blasinski added in the reply to a curious follower, there are no chainsaws in the game. Uh, Curiously, there is a hint that Rami Ismail has been in talk with Blasinski about the project too. But whatever the veteran dev and the consultant is working on hasn't been revealed yet either. Apparently, his next project is due to be revealed soon, though. Yeah, I brought this up because it was really slow on news. Hey, but also because I am excited to see what Blasinski could come up with next. And I don't agree that it was Gears of War what brought it to fame. Like that's complete BS. That's wrong. I mean, if we're gonna talk about the games that actually brought him to the forefront, it's the original Unreal, bro. So which
Unreal
the
Tournament.
Unreal Engine is based on because it was the game, it was the engine of that game. It was the engine created for that game. The game is called Unreal, and every game now uses Unreal Engine. So
Not
if
every game,
anything, it
but
was
most
that.
games. Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about, dude. Come
I know.
on. I guess all the other games use the Decima engine to you.
No, not at all. Just everything that Kojima makes. Uh, my last piece,
Oh,
guys,
this was my
is
last.
an excellent news piece, and I hope you're excited for it because I'm excited
Oh,
for it.
I'm more
Uh,
excited at E3. I mean,
More exciting than E3. This is because this is coming up sooner. Google may have abandoned its efforts to create exclusive games for Stadia streaming service through internal development studios, but the company still has plenty of games headed to its platform from third-party developers.
what? Who the
Yeah,
hell's making games of this train
next
wreck?
week, we'll see the first of 10 new games coming to Stadia, starting with The Dark Side
Dang.
Detective, A Fumble in the Dark, coming out April 15th
Oh, in the
by
dark.
Akapora Games on and then a month later, players can experience the joy of running their own winemaking business in 100 days. Yeah,
Wow. How
I'm
many
telling you.
how many 3080s and 3090s do I need to run this?
I honestly, you may need a few. These aren't the only games coming to Stadia, as Google previously announced that 100 games would be released on the platform, including Judgment, Killer Queen Black, Street Power Football, and Hellpoint. But look forward to other games coming this summer. Foreclosed in the fall, Figment 2. And then shortly after that, Grime. And of course, everyone's looking forward to She Dreams Elsewhere. And
Oh
of
my
course,
god.
the biggest one of all, Merrick's Market and Death Carnival. Uh,
What?
and then
Dude,
finally,
no joke. All of those games sound like either Android games or Ouya games, which were Android games. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
swear.
Yeah. The last one you may have heard of. It is, of course, by the famous stoner himself, Kevin Smith. Jay and Silent Bob's Chronic Blunt Punch. So yes, which is a tag team beat 'em up.
Oh my
So
god.
yeah, rejoice, Stadia owners.
We're
You
getting
have
some
nothing to play.
exclusives. Wow. I mean, with that lineup, I mean, I can't fucking wait, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, Killer Queen Black, dude, that's gold right there.
Dude,
Yeah,
Silent Bob and Silent
Jay and Silent Bob.
Jay and Silent Bob. I mean, are you kidding me, dude? That's day one.
Yeah. That's day one. Oh, that's wonderful. Sir, did you have any other? I know we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here, but anything
Jesus,
else to?
no. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about this. Just to say that I am deeply saddened by the news that uh, rapper legend DMX has passed away
DMX?
today. Uh, and yeah, man, he was just 50. He was
I know,
young, man.
dude. That's
He was young.
actually probably even the worst part is that he's not even old, dude. 50 is 6
Could have
years away
hurt.
from me.
We could have.
You know what I mean? And yeah,
Shut up.
yeah.
We don't talk about this.
I mean,
I'm already standing hard. It's easy to throw me into a depression stage now. There's no
sorry,
games
man.
that I can play that would take me out of this.
Yeah.
Remember, rap just got a little bit more crappier now. that
Agreed.
DMX is not
Oh my
around.
God, agreed. Yeah, he
So,
died. Excuse me, he suffered a heart attack on April 2nd, and was in grave condition in New York hospital throughout, and then unfortunately passed away today. if I'm not mistaken, the ninth.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, dude. I mean, I remember, dude, I was a big '90s rap guy, kid growing up in the Bronx. You know what I
I
mean?
think we
So
all were. Absolutely.
the yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I think at some point,
That era
someone,
was
um,
fantastic.
yeah, and so it is a shame, and it is heartbreaking that he passed away, and not to to try to muddle you up or anything like that, but at the same time, you know, uh, across the pond, as they say, Prince Edward, oh, the Prince, not was it Prince Edward? Oh dear, Prince Philip. Prince
Prince
Philip
Philip, yeah.
also passed away. Of course, he's lived a much longer life and all that.
Yeah,
But
was he
I do want to
98?
respect. Yeah, he was. Yeah, respect that. This is the longest any. There's a term for it. I can't remember because he's not a king because he's the not the escort. The I'm messing this up, guys, because I already forgot what it was. But anyway, respect to him, and of course DMX, and that's a sad day for sure.
Indeed.
All right, guys. Well, give us a moment. We'll be right back with our hot
Hot
topic.
topic.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me. Now there is no hope.
And Kratos cast himself from the highest mountain in all of Greece. After 10 years of suffering, 10 years of endless nightmares, it would finally come to an end. Death would be his escape from madness.
Boom, baby, we are back.
Woo!
Yes. And it is time, guys, for our hot topic of the week.
HotTopic.com.
And it is time for a little fireside chat with your very own Mad Dog Martin and Dream Twister Santos. We are all about the God of Wars today.
Gather around the campfire, boys and girls. We're gonna give you a story about a god that was a very angry god, and he liked wars, and like I said, he liked having a lot of sex off camera.
Off cam.
His
So
name was Kratos.
you were left to your own imagination as to what was happening just to the right of the camera.
Well, that's okay because I mean, you were his wingman because you had to do the button press. If you mess that up,
yeah.
ladies
He
will
was
not
not.
be
He was
pleased.
even. Yeah, the ladies weren't pleased, and he would be even more pissed off.
Yes.
Yeah.
What wouldn't you be?
I mean, sure, absolutely. I mean, for sure. The more I think about those particular game sequences, because that's what they were, my friend. I realized, yeah, man, that would so not fuck. We mentioned it earlier, but that would so not fly.
No,
Even a
not
little.
right now at all. I mean, imagine if like the part that he couldn't understand is like way before the God of Wars. We had the hot coffee incident. With
Oh yeah,
Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, and all that. Yes, and all that jazz, right? And bringing it forward here, you have a dude that it's having an orgy off camera, but it could tell what it is. By the way, it's not full frontal nudity, but it's like upper body nudity. So they're showing breasticles, and and then you the player get to do the motions, as if some weird motions with the thumbstick, as if
that's
you were
right. I forgot
practicing
you had to use
yourself.
a thumbstick. That's
Yes.
not good at all. My God.
Yes.
Oh my God. All right. So we're gonna basically take a stroll down memory lane with God of War. We're gonna start off with the first one, God of War. Aptly named, and released on March 22nd of 2005. Sir, where were you in 2005?
Oh damn, 2005.
Yeah.
That's actually, I mean, that is pre 360.
Yeah.
That is the height of the PlayStation 2.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
when it was coming. Yeah.
That was, PlayStation 2 was not only probably the biggest and best console at the time,
It was
it was like
absolutely the biggest and best
churning.
console at
Yeah,
the time.
it
There's
was
no doubt.
churning like just wonderful content at the time. It was
Yeah.
because they got out of their weird PlayStation 1 stage where it was like you don't know, there's no mascot. They have some good stuff and some weird stuff, and it's like I don't know what's going on. PlayStation 2 though, that's where they hit their stride, and I mean, to date, biggest selling console of all time. So
Of all
yeah,
time. Not to say PlayStation 1 wasn't like huge,
no, for
It
sure, for
might have
sure.
been weird and whatever because it was Sony's first try, but man, what a fucking debut. What a debut.
Yeah,
When you think
yeah,
about it.
for
But
sure.
yeah, God of War, PlayStation 2 was like it's usually those type of games that come out, a year before or a year or two before they're planning on
They
moving on
make
to
the
the
leap.
next gen, right?
Yeah.
And usually those games are usually what you could never imagine the console being capable of. And I love that it still happens today. Most recently with Last of Us 2 on PS4, and seeing that like ridiculousness and Ghost of Tsushima,
Ghost of
seeing
Tsushima
that
on PlayStation 4.
ridiculousness of
Unreal.
amazement on PS4 was like, how is this console? How did you not give me this before? I mean, it gave you plenty, it gave you greatness, yeah, throughout the years. But my God, like, there's no way to imagine that
Hmm.
games could look that good. And I remember seeing God of War because I was a big fan of the hack and slash games,
Yes, which
and
this squarely was. Yeah. Mhm.
with Discord, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And just that fluid motion of those chain blades. What are they actually called now?
The
My
Blades of Chaos.
the blades of chaos. Yes. Uh, just see just that the fluidity in which you if we should through those and attack enemies that were long range.
Hmm.
It was like, dude, it was perfection. I always remember that playing that introduction over and over. you know
With the
the
Hydra.
gods of Olympus have abandoned
Wait, was it
me.
the Hydra? It was. I think it was the Hydra, right? The
Before
first
it
one.
was
Yeah.
before it's before before the battle, before the game starts. The game starts with him throwing himself up a cliff. It's like,
Yes. Yes.
now there is no hope. And then the voice of Moneypenny,
Gaia.
I think,
Yeah.
from this lady comes, and Chaos, and Kratos, threw himself
Tossed
from the
himself up. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, yeah, and it was amazing. And it was just as he was about to hit the the edge of the water, because he was not throwing himself into water; he was throwing himself into rocks
Hmm.
near a beach. And just as he was about to hit it, it just like cuts to black, and it was like,
A few weeks
10 years
earlier, or something like that.
earlier,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
something like that. And he goes like, I'll get you from Ares, something like that. I don't remember exactly word
Oh, in
for
the
word, but
beginning, yeah.
the
No, in the
beginning he
beginning,
just
he's still.
starts.
I want to. No, he's not with Ares at that point. He
No,
is serving Athena. And so
yes,
it's more like Athena, give me something, and then you take
yes, he
on what the
yells.
beast
He
is.
yells
Yeah.
something. I remember he yells something.
Mhm.
That's when the camera pans out, and then you find you're in the boat, and then you're slashing and dashing and destroying with this. I Who would have thought? Freaking machetes. So to me, they were machetes, chain machetes that you were throwing to the
Yeah.
guys and calm them back, and he was like, "This is too cool."
Yeah, for sure. And also, of course, you start getting a lot of the backstory when you first see Kratos as a character. The first thing that comes to mind is like, damn, he is really pale. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you don't know what it
It wasn't
is.
great though, but he was pale.
Yeah, yeah. And so he little by little, it introduces a story, and of course, you realize that he got set up by Ares and ends up killing his own family, and then the sorceress or whatever she was ends up uh, attaching the ashes of his dead wife and daughter to his skin, as a reminder, as a curse and a reminder of what he did that day. Dude, that was just I
Yeah.
remember that the reveal towards the middle, towards the end.
That was some
So,
ridiculously deep and disturbing storytelling
imagery.
from
Yeah, yeah.
the imagery itself. Yeah, this was actually a David Jaffe joint.
It was.
Eh,
Yes.
this was his baby. This is
Mhm.
just as Gears of War was Chris Blazinski's baby. This was David Jaffe as baby, and now we kind of make jokes of like what has David Jaffe worked on recently? That shooting game that was
Drawn to Death. Yeah.
drawn to death.
I
Yeah, it's
remember
like
that. Yeah, yeah.
wow, really, like
Yeah.
how far has it fallen? And he was of previously of was it metal
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal?
Twisted Metal for me. He actually the
Yeah.
more recent one, which I think was Twisted Metal Black.
Hmm.
Wasn't it him that came on stage on a E3
I
conference?
think so.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was him. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So God of War. I remember. Here's my best memory. God of War. So unfortunately, I was in the midst of a separation from my wife at the time. So I was actually renting an apartment with a friend of mine, and he was also a gamer. And we knew this game was coming out, and it was a must buy, right? So
A
we
must
got
buy.
it, and it was the weirdest thing, dude, because it's a single player game, and yet we were playing it together. So I would
Oh God, how
play
does
for
that?
like 30 minutes and just like, man, whatever. And then I'd hand the controller to him and just sit back and watch him go for another 30, 40 minutes. You know what I mean? And it was just like, all right, go over here. Yeah, yeah. That looks, oh, damn, that looks rough. You know what I mean? I don't know how. That's not normally how I play a single player game, to be fair.
Not
And
anymore.
yet, yeah, or even before then, before or after that, I never played a single game. But we were so like just mesmerized by what we were seeing, the
That
brutality.
probably meant this was his PlayStation, and
The
so
No,
his
actually,
his
no, it
ru-
wasn't. It was because he was an
his
Xbox guy.
PlayStation, his rules.
It was
Oh,
an
he
X,
was an
yeah.
Xbox
He
guy
was the one who lent me his Xbox to
to play
play
Bioshock.
the Bioshock. Yeah, he was the one that. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, so respect. And I was okay with it because I was enjoying the game even when he was playing it, and so it was good stuff, man. And I remember
uh,
that being one of my fondest memories of the game. I think we got a good. We almost got towards. I think we got to the area where before you open Pandora's box. I can't remember It was like this weird temple on the back of Kronos. We got to
oh
right
yeah,
there,
the Titan,
the
right?
Titan. Yeah, we got to about right
Yes.
there when we stopped, and then at that point we just created our own save files and just continue from there. But yeah, man, God of War, the original, just lit up, dude. It was. I remember the making of it, and David Jaffe mentioning one word to everybody, which was
Yes.
brutality. This is what I want this game to look and feel like,
Yeah.
and he nailed it, man. He nailed it.
I mean,
Um,
you get him like literally tearing monsters up in
yes,
half.
yes,
It's like, well, I mean, this is every teenager's power fantasy
for
dream
sure, for sure.
of being this like super badass, so Spartan soldier. Like it was crazy, dude. And you see those early drawings of him, and it's so funny to see some of the early
The look they were
design
going for,
concepts.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Like
were going very Spartan with the armor and stuff at one point.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
with like a Roman soldier almost looking
yeah,
like
yeah.
it was.
It was
Yeah.
good. It was good stuff. So yeah, the story, of course, the antagonist in the game was Ares, the God of War himself.
Paris!
Ares. The one downfall to this game, and I don't know if most people agree with this, but I definitely
Oh, I agree.
was that last battle with Ares, and
Oh, okay.
I was
I thought you were
like
gonna say the spinning blades because that was a
the oh yeah,
motherfucker
well
of
that
that.
was a gameplay element that sucked balls.
No,
Yes,
that it sucked the fun right out of it. Out of a perfectly paced game,
yeah.
they have to include that part. It's like, come on.
Absolutely. In a 3D space, you have to be able to navigate these and let's be real, these platforms, and let's be real, Kratos is not the most graceful of
No,
of
no, he gotta
characters.
have a stiff jumping
Yeah,
animation
very
a little
stiff
bit.
jumping.
Yeah.
So yes, I do remember those, and they suck. But that was more of a gameplay element that really sucked. But for
Yeah.
me, well, I guess the boss fight is also a gameplay element. But the Ares fight to me, while it was challenging, and I didn't mind the challenge, it just felt really gamey at that point. You know what I mean? And it just
I mean,
kind
it
of, I
was a
don't know.
different perspective, no?
What do you mean?
Wasn't it was or am I getting confused? That there was a fight. There's a boss fight with Ares where isn't it like almost side scroller ish?
No,
No.
this was you opened Pandora's box,
Uh-huh.
and then suddenly you were as big as Ares, and now you're fighting Ares. What it looks to be a puddle, but technically you're on the ocean, because you're
Oh
huge, just like
God,
Ares was.
yes, I
Yeah,
remember now.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah. And he has a couple of forms, right? So you
yeah.
beat him to a certain point, and then suddenly he has a final form. There is, if I remember
That's a good
correct.
fight. What are you talking about then?
No, it just felt, if it was pretty early on to me, where I was just like, okay, I don't mind the battle because you got to battle something, but this felt, I don't, it felt gamey. Yeah, it just felt gamey to me. But I mean,
I mean,
overall,
you were playing a video game, so
I
that
mean, true,
probably
true
has
that.
something to do with it.
Yeah,
I need to,
you're
see-
probably right.
I need to see this God of
You
War
forgot of it? You forgot the end battle already?
um
Come on, man.
and fight.
Yeah,
I, I
Kratos fight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
here we go. Oh no, not four. God of War.
while you're
Oh,
doing that, I will
yeah.
fill in the blanks. Of course,
Oh,
this
I see
introduced.
it now. Yeah, that fight was great. What are you talking about? That game,
Uh,
that fight was legit. I mean,
it was okay. It
it
was all
was.
right. Again, it wasn't. The fight itself was okay. It was a little cheesy in some points, but I'm like, I'll let that go. But
Because
overall,
you
it
see
was.
you see like the city. I got the name of that city, but it was
I don't know. I think
right next to the
Athens
ocean,
or
and you see
something.
the
Yeah,
port, and it looks so tiny.
yeah,
And mind you, you are in the lake. It's a huge lake,
yeah,
as
yeah,
that
yeah.
appears so. And I'm surprised that you're not making like frigging tidal waves,
You should be.
like typhoons. Like,
You
I feel
know,
like
yeah.
that should be the touch, like like crazy typhoons. I don't know. Maybe it couldn't hold the. It would not have been able to hold the.
Not the PlayStation 2, that's for sure. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so the Blades of Chaos were introduced here. This game was in a fixed camera perspective. Plenty of gore, addictive combat, boss battles, QTE events. Didn't introduce QTE, but it definitely, that's the
I feel
series,
like
excuse me.
I feel like that's when they got the staple of
Yeah,
QTEs.
yeah, definitely, for sure.
Was definitely.
So yeah, that was God of War, and then exactly, or not exactly, but almost exactly, 2 years later, March 13th, 2007, God of War 2 comes out, and this was the PlayStation 2's swan song. Like, this was a game
Mhm.
that came to the PlayStation 2 when the PlayStation 3 was either already out or on its way out, one of the two. But it came to PlayStation 2 only at that point.
Yeah.
Of course, a sequel to the original, having already killed Ares, and now you're, of course, the God of War. Kratos, of course, is rubbing the other gods all the wrong ways.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I remember, of course, after he is manipulated and stripped by powers by Zeus, Kratos allies himself with the Titans in preparation for his final vengeance and destruction of Mount Olympus. Of course, he does not have the Blades of Chaos anymore, but he does have the Blades of Athena. Athena, even though she is of Mount Olympus, is an ally to Kratos in this particular title. Overall, I remember absolutely. I think I play of all the God of Wars. I think I've
Uh-huh.
played and completed God of War 2 the most, easily
Oh wow.
more than 4 or 5 times. It was just an absolute fun game to play. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt the same or if you recall anything from it, but
Oh no, no, I God of War 2 was fantastic, and as opposed to the original God of War, where I could tell you, well, this part sucked, this part sucked. I really can't remember the anything that I would have actually disliked about it. I mean that battles at the end maybe with I think you're battling Zeus at that point, right?
At the
Uh,
end, yeah,
yeah.
you are battling Zeus. I remember you have to battle the three sisters of fate. Um, that was a big battle. But honestly, the battle that comes to mind every time, and still one of my favorite boss battles of all time, is taking on the fucking the statue, the very beginning. The statue, I can't remember the
Oh
name of the
yeah,
statue, but you're taking on that stat, and it's like a multi-tiered uh fight, you know what I mean, because you're consistently moving around the like you were stripped, you still have your godly powers, but your height was taken away, so now you're a small person.
yeah.
um and yeah, so I remember that being one of my favorites. I'm trying to remember, honestly, I find it difficult to remember a lot of the middle of the game, but I remember the end with the Sisters of Fate. Oh no, I remember that was the one you were on the what were they, the horses with wings.
The Pegasus.
Pegasus, yeah, you were on the Pegasus thing. Yes, and that was also the one I remember you end up getting the wings from Icarus.
For Icarus, yeah.
Yeah, the Icarus
That
wings.
was
Yeah.
cool because it'll like fly you up almost like
Yes.
Mario style.
That was a great. How did you think about it now? That was a really, really good game, dude.
Yeah, God of War 2, like it nailed it. Actually, the only thing I don't understand is I mean, you battle Zeus, and do you kill him there?
No, no, you do not kill him there. I'm trying to rember what
Because
ends
I
up
remember there was a very brutal like scene where he takes that blade and he just like is fucking like
that.
fuse him in the middle.
Oh, that was this game, but it was at the very beginning. So he tells you to put all your power into the sword so you can take out the big statue, essentially.
uh,
And you take out the big statue, but you realize that you have put all your power into the sword and you're now mortal. And then
yes.
Zeus shows up as a bird,
Mhm.
and it changes into Zeus, and he ends up stabbing you. And then you, of course, you go to
Yeah,
Hades, which
gotcha.
you
Yeah.
make several trip to Hades in the entire
Yeah.
franchise.
And you're
At some
always
point you go,
escaping from it.
yeah. At some point you go, Hades really can't be that difficult if you're consistently running out. But yeah, so yeah, this is your second trip because you did make a trip into Hades in the first
Yeah.
one with the spinning fucking things. But yeah, that was the stabbing point, and then towards the end, I'm trying to remember what it was. I don't think you fought Zeus. Now that I think about it, I don't think you fought Zeus in the second one.
Who
Uh,
was it?
you,
Who was the end? Because
yeah, I have to look this up now because I really
I
don't
know
remember.
Ares was that on the third one.
The
Uh,
third one was Zeus.
on the third one was Zeus. Sorry,
Yeah,
yes.
God of War
But
2
was
final
it the
boss.
Titan?
You, oh no, you are playing. Yes, so this is the Zeus fight, but you're fighting Zeus, and he's like this huge guy, and you're like in this
Right.
little pillar or something like that, and he's constantly slapping the pillar. So he's one of those boss battles where now he's big and you're small
Yeah.
against him.
But then he turns small
Then
and he attacks you
he
like
does turn small towards
everything.
the end, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where you go to stab him, and I think Athena jumps in front, and you end up stabbing Athena and
Really?
yeah, isn't that the other one? Let me
Oh,
see here.
I don't remember stabbing Athena.
Yes, you do stab Athena, but you end up jumping back in time. Dear Lord.
Wow,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
fucking game.
You jump back in a different portion, and now this is where you jump to get the Titans, because
Uh-huh.
remember the Titans have been eliminated in the history of Greece, of this Greek mythology. So you
Uh-huh.
have to jump back in time. You use the Sisters of Fate's power to jump back in time. Go get the what do you call it, the Titans, and bring them to Mountain Olympus to do the final battle. And of course it cuts at
Damn.
the end to be continued and all this bullshit.
I know. That's
Yeah.
yes.
Which was frustrating, but at the same time, you
Oh,
gotta admit you got a good game. You know what I mean?
it was great because then that sets up the third one with that amazing opening of him battling, and then the camera pans out, and then you realize like, oh shit, you're in the back of a freaking Titan, and you're like this
Yes.
speck of dust, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
And that it's like, welcome to the next level. Here's
Yeah.
PS3.
Well, yeah. So that's how that ended. You did kill Athena there. I think Athena makes an appearance in 3, but I think something different happened to that
That's
point. I can't
good.
recall too much there, but
I mean,
uh,
if we got time travel, then once
yeah,
you introduce time travel, it's like, oh,
exactly. You're undoing shit.
it's
Obviously,
not it's not believable anymore.
it's
You
all
know?
questionable. So real quick, next actual game came out. I'm not going to spend time on this. God of War Betrayal came out June 20th, 2007 for the phones. Moving on, God
Oh,
of
I did
War.
not know that even existed.
Yeah.
What the hell was that? Because I need to know.
Oh, so God of War Betrayal, probably the least remarkable entry in the series, was for mobile games running on Java.
Oh
Making
God, I think they chose an appropriate name for it.
yes,
It sounds like a betrayal to the
I would
consoles.
agree. Yeah, making the only God of War game to not to be released on the PlayStation platform. It was also the only God of War game to release on any platform that isn't a PlayStation console. It is considered non-canon by everybody involved. That, my friend, is a 2D side-scrolling game. So,
Oh, okay then,
so there
yeah.
you go.
That's not legit. That's not real.
No, not even at all. God of War Chains of Olympus was the following one. Came out on March 4th, 2008 for the PlayStation Portable. Uh, this one here, this kind of takes it back a little bit to before the events of God of War 2, after defeating Ares and becoming the God of War. But before being betrayed by Zeus, Kratos serves the gods of Olympus and is sent to break the siege laid by the Persians on the city of Attica. So I have never played this game, so I have nothing to input on this, even though I did
That's
own a
that,
PSP.
that's the PSP. Yeah, I played a little bit, but it just felt like honestly, it felt like discount God of War.
Yeah, I figured. I figured it did. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie. I figured that was the deal. But
a raw deal it was.
yeah, there was. I don't think it's this one. It may have been the other one. So I'll get to it when I get to it. But March 16th, 2010 saw the release on PlayStation 3 of God of War 3. So this is where we finally get the big hit, the spectacular God of War 3. The game picks up where God of War 2 left off, with Kratos and the Titans besieging Mount Olympus, ready to dethrone the Olympian god. From then on, Kratos needs to make his way to the top of the mountain and face his father Zeus himself. I have one question that I think everyone gets asked when they say they've played God of War 3, and that is, how long did it take for you to stop hitting Zeus?
Well, the game hasn't prompted me yet, so I'm still at it as
So
we
as we
speak.
speak, you're still hitting him.
Yeah. I mean, I have had to take turns, so I'm because I've gone this far in the game, I'm not gonna let it win, right? So
I hear
I
you.
take turn. My wife works, takes care from 11 to 7, and then I take to 7 to, and then
This is the most massive beatdown in all of Greek history, is what this is. It took me a while, for the record. It took me, I would say it took me probably a good, maybe anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes to go, okay, so
yeah,
probably I should stop. you know,
you monster.
hold on, I'm opening up a new beer. All right.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So,
Pour one for poor Aries. I mean, not
or
Aries, but
Zeus,
poor
yeah,
Zeus.
getting his face creamed in. Um, yeah, no, for sure. That
Ew.
was
that's, that's fucking terrible, bro. That's even worse.
okay. Well, I mean, I didn't mean it that way. Jeez. Head out of the gutter. Just because we're in God of War land doesn't we need to be all whatever. But
Quick time events.
quick time events. No, for sure. This one had some of my favorite uh because now what when you think back of the God of Wars from before, the Minotaur was a boss. the
Yeah.
Medusa was a boss, and all this stuff. And now this is God of War 3, and every boss is a freaking god. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm just like, this is some like really awesome stuff. Some of the highlights, the
Some
Poseidon fight.
fucked up shit.
Yeah, the Poseidon fight was an excellent battle. I
Yes.
love fighting Hercules in this one. Um, what else? What was the other ones that were good? Helios, which is was it Helios? The one that you tear the dude's head off. I think it was Helios, which was sickening, but at the same time, it's like, well,
Oh,
he's got to
yeah.
go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he literally shows him ripping his head off with
Yeah,
like
with
like
veins and all.
PlayStation 3
Yeah,
graphic.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh, holy shit,
It was
no
pretty
man.
harsh. And then of course you have the final battle with Zeus. And overall, I mean, I thought it was an excellent finish into the story. It did have some things that were brought up in I think afterwards. It's funny, I don't remember it being brought up in its time, but I remember it becoming a thing afterwards. I remember Hera, which was Zeus's wife. I think there's a gameplay element where she's dead and you're using her body just to like press these sensitive buttons, whatever, on the floor.
Those pressure yeah,
Pressure sensor, yeah.
yeah, that was so many levels of fucked up. It's like you're using a corpse now
Yeah, but see,
to
the thing
as a
was, to
tool.
me, that I always heard, it was like, oh, this is wrong. It's like, it's about, it's not.
It is wrong.
It is wrong, but he did that in the first one. Although it was a body that was already dead. I don't know if you remember that, but he was grabbing a body. It was grabbing like one of these things from a hanging.
I think
It
I
was in. It
think
was
there was one where he sacrificed. He like clearly sacrificed
yes,
a mortal.
early
And
on. Yes.
yes,
So I'm like, why is this such a big deal here? I don't. I guess I didn't see the difference other than so they
it's
were
it's,
alive
it's next
and it
gen.
was a woman. I guess I didn't see the
That's
big difference.
exactly what it was.
Okay, I mean, I'm just saying.
You insensitive
I guess
bastard.
it's okay when it's the guy, is what I'm hearing. That's all.
Okay. Oh,
That's all I'm saying.
we can take it. We're dead anyway.
Yeah, actually, I can't argue that point. We probably are. But no, overall, I think obviously graphically, PlayStation 3 cell processor was at 100%.
Yeah.
Shooting at
Sony,
all levels.
Sony knew how to use its own processor. Let's give him that.
I would hope so, since it was
Nobody
there.
else did, but Sony did.
Yeah. Yeah, those are my favorite parts of that game. But yeah, it was excellent. It was excellent. So moving on, the next one that came out was going back to the PlayStation Portable, God of War, Ghost of Sparta. So this is another mobile game similar to Chains of Olympus, much like that previous PlayStation Portable game. Ghost of Sparta takes place in between the events of earlier games. This time, in between the events of 2 and 3, and so not 2 and 3. It's still in the same place, actually, in between the original God of War and Betrayal, which is non-canon anyway. The game delves into Kratos' past and his relationship with his brother Deimos. Deimos was abducted by Ares as a child due to misinterpretation of a prophecy regarding the downfall of Olympus. The story is presented surprisingly well. This is actually, I think, Ghost of Sparta, if I remember correctly, was way better received when it came to story and lore than the Chains of Olympus. And if I remember correctly, this is where you fight Persephone, which is Hades' wife. And so when you fight Hades in God of War 3, and he references the death of his wife, you're probably thrown off a little bit if you never played this game. So it's a weird.
Of all the things that they could have actually referenced, they had to reference that.
They had to reference that bullshit, yeah. So, but was I to this day always felt like I missed out on something there because it was mentioned. It was like, shit, I should know about this. I feel like this was an integral part. And I love, for instance, by the way, that one of the battles of God of War 3, which I forgot to mention, was that battle against Hades, which was excellent, dude. It was one of the most like visually stunning freaking fights. You're in
Yeah,
Hades and
yeah.
you're taking on freaking Hades himself.
Yeah.
And I've always loved the different looks. Like after so many iterations of Greek mythology, either in Disney with their freaking Hercules movie, or with
I love Yeah, I love that in particular. That was around the time that hey, the Hercules movie, the Disney ones, and then you see this version of Hercules who was a total jerk.
yeah, exactly. So seeing this version of Hades, and you could just see he's this tortured person, or tortured
Mm.
god, I guess, was interesting. So anyway, Ghost of Sparta, that was the next one. Then of course comes March 12th, 2013, God of War Ascension. God of War Ascension, a PlayStation 3 game. Rather than continuing where God of 3 left off, we took yet another journey back into the
Uh-huh.
events of Kratos' past. After breaking the oath he had sworn to Ares, Kratos is imprisoned and tortured by the Furies as punishment for his transgression. Unsurprisingly, it's not long before he obviously breaks out, and he goes after Ares. He obviously doesn't take on Ares because that doesn't happen into the original God of War. But
Mm.
um, overall, I never played this game.
Where
And I
was this
remember,
game? This game was on PS3, you said?
yeah, this was a PS3 God of War Ascension, the one that everybody hated for whatever
Oh,
reason.
wait a minute. Was this the Judgment? Was this the
Yes,
supposed
the God of War Judgment.
God of
Yes,
War Judgment, God of War 4, or whatever the hell they were going for? Oh, yeah, no, fuck that. I
yeah.
mean, yeah,
I never played it, so I
it,
can't speak
you could tell
to it.
there was no passion on this project because the whole idea was, oh, let's make a God of War game that has multiplayer for some unknown reason of why.
Yes, I remember that. I forgot that they had multiplayer. Shit. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know why I had that either.
I
Yeah.
do not understand what that
Um,
point was.
According to most, the reason behind it, it
Most.
was first of all a visually impressive game, just like God of War 3 was.
Yeah, look good.
Franchise fatigue has started to set in at this point. The ever
Yeah.
expanding story of Kratos' quest for vengeance started to lose its impact. And the lack of innovation on gameplay, which, let's be real, there was very little innovation on gameplay throughout the series until you
Mhm.
really get into the more recent one. Didn't help matters either. Ascension featured no interesting new weapons, and obviously you can't do that because then you'll ask later, well, why wasn't that weapon in the original God of War? So you were basically stuck with what you had at that point. So I never played this game. Out of curiosity, I kind of want to just to see what it was about. You know what I mean? It's like
Uh-huh.
it's the one major one I never actually did, and I didn't do it because it was so poorly received. Although review wise, it really wasn't bad. It was just
No, I mean it was not a
yeah,
trash game. It was just not. It was not. It was not like the. Again, it just felt like it was another God of War, like a cash in
money
basically.
grab.
Like
Yep.
it it was a money grab. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a money grab with which I don't know. I mean, I like God of War. Yeah, I don't know what was it specifically that
Do you
just
play
didn't call
Ascension?
my attention. No, not at all. Like I did not care to get it.
Me either.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. I knew that it was, and neither did you. So
No, yeah.
it was like, why do we skip it? And I think it was just the realization that okay, yeah, this is. I mean, this game ended already. You know,
Yeah. That's what it was.
the
That's
series
exactly what it was.
had an end, had a proper ending, and it was amazing. And it just
Yeah.
felt like I don't know, it
Yeah.
was excessive.
I can agree. And of course, that leads us to April 20th. Yes, guys, 420. Of
Oh boy.
2018. This is where, of course, God of War expanded outside of the Greek mythology. It brought a much needed refreshment to the game's plot and mechanics, and it quickly became the most popular and fastest selling entry in the franchise to date. Not to mention, yet another entry in a string of superb PlayStation 4 exclusives. This was considered a soft reboot although I don't know, I have my issues with mentioning that because I'm like, if he's continuing the story,
I think
technically,
I think they probably meant that in the sense of, well, it's not the same God of War that you play, like as far as gameplay,
as far as gameplay mechanic, okay,
because
I can deal with that. Yeah,
yeah, because it's still, I mean, yeah, it's still following the story just like you said.
yeah.
And I remember, and this was how disinterested I was already in the fact that God of War. First of all, Kratos never. Kratos was a badass character, but he was never a likable character. He was never like, I never considered him a relatable character in any way. He looked bad. That first God of War was incredible.
Yeah, I
The
would say
second
the
one
first
was
one he
really
had
good.
probably the most,
The
when you think of his distress towards the end where he's throwing himself off of the
Yeah,
thing, it's like, okay, and then you see the events that lead to that. You see the wife and daughter's death. You're like, oh, I get it. But
it
then
could have been
two and
like its own
three,
thing.
yeah, and then 2 and 3 was just, oh, he's just angry all the time.
He's
Yeah,
just he's just angry, and by the end of three, it's like, okay, I think I'm good. I like this story. This is the
vengeance was had.
trilogy. We're done.
Yeah,
Vengeance was had, exactly. Game over. We don't need. And then the other one was Ascension was announced, and it showed them multiplayer. It's like, what the hell is this? This is not God of War, and it's just completely disinterested. And then they're announcing a new one, and I remember, I mean, I had a PS4. I was excited for a bunch of games coming out of the PS4. God of War was not one of them in
hmm,
the least. Like, to me, it was like, of course Sony's gonna bring another God of War because
it's their
they
IP.
have to.
Yeah,
They have to.
hmm,
But never in a million years I would have thought that I was gonna go from complete disinterest, like I'm telling you, the same interest that I had in Ascension basically was just
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
for going from that to looking at that E3 trailer, and like my mind not wanting to realize to compute that this was Kratos, the person they were showing there, Papa Kratos, the
yeah,
way they was showing
yeah.
him, and and then there was this kid and all that, and it just looked so interesting that it sparked my interest again. It's like, okay, no, I need to see it. And forget it. I mean, from there you go in from there to watching gameplay to actually playing it, and this game has to be like high above all,
It
high up
is.
there above
Yeah.
the pantheon. See what I did there, of all the best games
Agreed,
that's
agreed.
released.
And you know why? It first off, here's why I love um that it held on to that history, both good and bad, right?
Yeah,
We know where that scar comes from on his chest. We know why his skin is white. All those things that happened in the old one, whether you liked it or not, the fact that he was an angry, just always angry and just an annoying yelling and all this stuff, it became a thing here. It became a thing where you realize his anger was something he realized he needed to control early on in this
yeah.
game. And you go, oh, they're using that critique that we
Yeah.
mentioned. He's always angry. He's just this dude. He just wants to kill everything. You
This
know what
is
I
a
mean? Where it's like,
mature God of War,
yeah,
not a juvenile power trip.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. They took
Saxon killing.
all those elements and used it as a basis to build off of here. And then of course you give him Atreus, and then this is his son, and you know what happened to his other kids. So you're like, he clearly wants to be the father that makes him a strong enough person to live and survive throughout this crazy world. But at the same
Mhm.
time, he also knows that he needs to be encouraging and more of a soft way, you know what I mean. And it's that balance where you see with it with Kratos you just never thought Kratos would do.
Nope,
You're just like,
nope,
this is
not in a
not the
million
Kratos
years,
I would
bro.
ever have expected. But it's like, this is the perfect example of, to me personally, it's the perfect example of becoming the mature person. Dude, if you jump back in my life 20 years ago, maybe even more, I would, and this is not for the record. I'm going to say this, but it's not to say that any of this stuff means you're immature, for the record. But I was smoking pot all the time. I was,
Mhm.
hanging out and going clubbing all the time. And I was not serious in life with relationships all the time, And it's, I look at those original God of Wars and go, yeah, those were my 20s. My early 20s, my late teens, early 20s. That was me. And then you get to this Kratos in life and you realize, yes, these are the important things. When I think of my son Nick and the things I want to, bestow onto him and make sure that he's ready for the crazy stresses of life, dude, you cannot you cannot play this game and not realize, particularly me as an older, mature gamer, if you will, how deep those things
Yeah.
are. And you realize that David Jaffe, obviously, being an older man and having kids, and these are the type of things that you start thinking about that you don't think about when you're younger. You just want to rip shit apart. You want to do the not David Jaffe, the
No, I was
current
gonna
one. I
say.
forgot his name. The current
Uh,
developer. The fuck was his name? Damn, I have to look this up.
I'll find it because it is very important.
Imperative, yes, yes. So David Jaffe, and again, not an attack on David Jaffe. I
The
love
David
David.
Jaffe that is not David Jaffe
No,
is
but I'm
Cory
saying going back.
Balrog.
Thank you, Corey Balrog. Yeah. So what I was going to say is the David Jaffe version of no, I'm getting there. The David
Okay, okay.
Jaffe version of God of War was that early, young person in my life that just wanted the brutality, wanted to rip people apart, and
Yeah.
didn't really mind having the off-screen sex moment, whatever, you know what I mean? But here it's like,
As we all.
yeah, of course, you're young, right? But here, as I've gotten old as a man, as a father, as a husband, and even as a gamer, it's like, you have these things, and they just make so much sense to my life now. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it just hit, bro. It is literally probably one of, I mean, whether it's you personally like personally yours or not, you cannot deny that it is the one of the most important and biggest and best games. One of
Oh
biggest and
yeah.
best games. Uh,
Without a frigging doubt. I mean,
yeah,
when you
it
see, I
is.
mean, that is a transformation of a pretty much throwaway character like it became to becoming like this central. I need to know what happens next again. Like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the transformation, the fact that this is forget about that other God of War, angry
No, it's
emo
that. That's the whole
Yahoo.
deal. You can't
This
forget
one
that.
you totally relatable to. This one
Yeah,
is like,
no,
oh
yeah, okay, that's where you're going. Yeah, you're definitely more relatable, but the 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 fact that those things happen is imperative to him here. He has that curse, that anger. That's what hurt Atreus somewhere
mm,
towards the middle of the game. It was a curse that he was bringing along with him.
yeah,
And it may be a silly element of the story, sure. So why would anger or whatever? But
yeah,
it doesn't matter. It's like it's pulling from the old games and bringing it over, and making it an important part of this.
yeah.
It's man, I almost honestly I have been weighing going back because I own it, and it's like going back to and playing it again.
Hello,
I'm just like,
PlayStation 5 version,
I
or are you gonna
know.
wait until they remaster it?
I mean, honestly, right now,
I
I'm in
might
the
as
middle
well.
of something at the moment, but I honestly, I feel like I might after
Yeah.
Disco Elysium, I feel like I just might, because there's nothing in the horizon that I can see right now in
Yeah.
this moment, and I feel like I just might do that just to experience this ridiculously awesome told story. And then, of
Yeah.
course, on top of that, by the way, we haven't mentioned now we're in Norse mythology. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Oh, by the way, yes,
oh,
that's
oh,
right.
by the way, yeah,
Oh,
we've
by
left
a little
Greece.
detail there.
Now
This
we're
ain't
with
Kansas anymore.
no, we're with Thor and Odin and
Yeah.
and all the elements of that particular mythology, which are
Mythology. Yeah.
fascinating to me. It's not something that's, well, I guess now more recently is more used with the more recent Assassin's Creed and all that. But at the
Mhm.
time, it was an untapped, mythology in gaming.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
I guess
I
everyone was in love with the Greek mythology. Nobody decided to look at the cousin right there, right next to it. It's like, hey,
Right
you know
now,
what? There's actually
bunch of
a very
Vikings over
interesting
here.
story to tell here too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah,
Like
so that
it.
brings us to the most recent, and I guess we could just take a quick, I don't know, talk about what do you think on the next one, and honestly, I, my only ask for the next one, me personally, is don't overstay your welcome. Don't try to outdo it with, quantity. If the next one's story is a tight told story in 10 hours, then do that. You know what I mean? Don't go and say I need to make it 20. What was the other one?
This
25
was
hours,
this
30
was
hours. I need to make
what?
a Yeah, I need to make a 50-hour God of War. It's like, no, 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 no. Don't You
No,
don't need to, unless your story leads to that. Oh, okay, well, as long as it's Lisa, no filler. I don't think there was any filler within God of War 2018 that I can remember.
they were, but they were not. I mean, they were not annoying because it's part of the gameplay. The gameplay was fun.
Hmm.
There's some backtracking and some things that I could have just a little bit do without. But again, I can't say that I was having a bad time with it. So yeah, I definitely was okay with it. The thing is with a new one is that I don't think they could go back. I don't think they could go back to the 10-hour thing. I mean, after you deliver this epic, you know, uh, tale. I mean, this open worldness. I mean, that's where it's headed. Like it or not, it is headed towards the open worldness of of it. Because I think that's the big buzzword now. And those
Sure
games
is.
tend to sell very well. But I have after what they've done, I have a good feeling. I don't think that even if it ends up being long, even if it ends up being like 5 hours more than the previous one, I don't think it'll be filler or taken out of anything other than this is an amazing continuation. It's probably gonna be a cliffhanger. Unfortunately, that's usually what the second games, what second games of anything are usually.
Well, I
It's
mean,
gonna
I
be a
hope
cliffhanger.
not. I guess looking back at God of War 2, as taken aback as I was that the fact that you didn't get the ending of a story at that point,
Mhm.
I don't think I ever felt gypped. I didn't
No,
feel like
no,
I got a complete story. I got my
yeah,
battle with Zeus. I got everything I wanted out of that game. So much so I played, like I said, God of War 2 is the one God of War I have played multiple times to completion because I still felt it was just the excellent game.
yeah.
So yeah, I can agree. I can
God of
agree.
War.
All right, guys. Well, I think that brings
Maybe.
us to the end of an awesome episode 258 GG's the Mouthful Podcast. Thanks to you. Thanks to you. You hear me? Thank
Thanks.
you so much for tuning in. As always, please go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. Please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. This is Mad Dog signing off this week, saying, "Get your vaccine, mofos. Let's get out of this pandemic." Mr. Santos, Dream Twister. Don't know why I said it that way. Take us home.
Um, I have news from the future,
Oh,
from June actually,
oh.
of this year, and I can tell you that God of War, the next God of War is going to be announced. Sony, and that's why Sony won E3, even though they didn't go to E3, they won E3 with God of War announcement. And the winning lotto numbers are 21, 47, 62, 5, 11, 69, 32.
Nice. I hope I recorded this because I caught like 4 of those numbers, not all of them, but that's fine. All right,
Let's
guys.
hope
Well,
we record it.
let me tell you,
Let's hope we
I'm just
record
going to say this right now. If those numbers actually hit in June, I am going to forever. I think I will literally go capture you, lock you up somewhere, and you're going to be like the golden goose.
it. Oh, shit.
It's like I need you to give me 7 random numbers. Go.
In future news, my body hasn't been found. Go search Mad Dog, please.
Casa de Martin.
Casa de
Martin.
Martin,
Check it over here.
which is an empire because he bought half of Castleberry already as his kingdom.
To be fair, when I say locked up, I mean in the most humane of ways.
Oh, okay.
You're going to be fed wonderfully. I don't think you're really going to have an issue.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that is true. You know what? That's Let me have at least conjugal visits, and I'm happy, man.
Done.
Okay, there you go.
See?
All right.
Suddenly it's become a good thing.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Pew pew. Pew pew.